Ta-da! We are live a whole minute early. What a concept. Well, welcome to the stream, all my lovelies. Caddie here with you today, feeling rather bunnish today, just because I do like a little variety, and I haven't been hurrying quite a bit. Which is sad, because I really do like this avatar. Welcome, my lovely Fopsy. I'm glad to see you're up and about. And I'm happy you got a little bit of rest there after work. Waggity, waggity, waggity. So cute. I love your icons. And Ice Toast, hello. Welcome up. I'm having a good day. So far, so good. Had the day off, so I've been relaxing, sewing, and watching stuff on either, Twitch or the TV or whatnot. And I had a lovely dinner this evening. Baked off chicken thighs, and I had a sweet potato, so that was a really nice treat. Enjoyed my baked sweet potato. Sewing, what am I working on? That's an interesting question. Well, we'll just call it personal. Personal faux bondage equipment. That would come down to the question of, is it really feasible to actually restrain oneself when having fun if there's not going to be someone that's going to be able to undo it, so having the effect thereof without the actual function of actual restraint. So, fun stuff. Sure, later on I can let you know a little bit more about it. I'm on part 3 of this ensemble I've been putting together, and it's mostly done, so yay. And everything I've made so far is actually rather comfortable and enjoyable, so yay. Remember, sewing doesn't always have to be boring stuff. You can make fun things too. I mean, everything I make is basically fun anyway. I make pretty dresses mostly, and fursuit parts and accessories, so all of what I make is just for fun. Very little practical, except for, say, my jackets and coats, which are very practical. I do love the fact that I have made my last, 3 or so winter coats, plus quite a few different fall/spring time of the year type jackets that really nice, really comfortable, and I like expressing myself in that way. Many lies. I know lies. I like to tell truths. I'm a truthin. It's the fox that made the story that we were called lions because we lie. We're actually called truthins, and it's a conspiracy theory. It is lovely to see you as well, Mindy. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. True fins are found in the ocean. Probably. Ice says, I gotta go to sleep already. Have fun. I will have fun. You have a good sleep there, Ice. I will happily tell you. I think you're in my Discord. If so, I'll find you and send you some information about the fun stuff I've been sewing. I was considering posting it on my Twitter and my Mastadoodle and whatnot once I get done with everything. I'm not a sea kitten. silly floofs. No. So how is everybody doing? Are we all having a good day besides me? Sea cucumber. Sea cucumbers are such weird critters, too. Also, I don't like cucumbers anyway, so I'm probably not one of those. Even though sea cucumber isn't anything to do with an actual cucumber, and, that's an entirely different situation. I'll have some water. Numbers. They are very good. I don't recommend eating a sea cucumber. Got it. It's not a good texture. If I remember right, they were weird, so I'm okay with not eating that. Though I'm sure no one's going to notice this unless you ask for something like tail wags. I actually am doing things a little differently today. Because of all the things that I would have trouble with, almost everything I'd have trouble with would involve my trackers. And since I spend like 99% of my stream sitting on my boom, I just left them out of the picture. Not only did I have no problem being oriented the way I wanted to be, my hands have not had any glitching, and previously I would have to be farther away from my desk, this more iterates the fact that the glitching had to do with the tracker Bluetooth, because as far as how close I am to my desk, this is my desk right here. This is the edge of my desk, and there's the other edge, right there. So that is how close I am to my desk right now. I don't even have to stretch, and I'm touching it. Whereas before, I was having to be ages away from my desk so that my hands wouldn't be flapping around and my head would be failing to track. This may mean I just have to look into, say, extension cords or something for my tracker dongles and possibly mount them up on the walls or something so they're out of the way. But for the most part, for what I'm doing here, I don't need them. They're not going to make any difference. And maybe once I make a new computer in, say, next spring, I will have by then I'll make a better setup of where to plug them in. Besides the fact that once that happens, I'm actually looking to move most of my USB-based storage out of this room and change my fun computer from being the data storage device to the living room secondary gaming computer for both of us, being where all the storage stuff goes on. Basically, a third fun computer in the house for when we don't want to be in the same room as the other person, which is also a network-attached storage device. Fun concept. When you're rebuilding your computers completely, you're going to have basically 99% spare parts anyway from what you're not carrying over. I'll probably carry over the Blu-ray burners that are on our current computers, not because we need them for any normal status, but you might someday want to burn a new CD for the car, because we still, 7 years in and I still haven't moved the good stereo into the car. It's still sitting on a box on the shelf in front of the car. Yep, that's me being productive. And hi, Wild. Welcome to the fun. I see you wagging there. But it is interesting. I experimented when I went on VR on Saturday. I didn't feel like strapping my waist on and my two ankles on and T-posing and hoping everything stayed synced and worrying that my belly was going to like nope out to the left for, by 50 feet all of a sudden, and my legs be all twitchy, and just like I just left him out of the picture, and I had no problems having fun with my friends, which was nice. Enjoyed being social without having to worry about my whole hardware going wonk. Sounds like prepping in fursuit. Yeah, you know it. Honestly, there are days with fursuiting where I feel I just want to go out in the fursuit. Just the fursuit, straight up, nothing else, fursuit. And then it's like, oh, well, it's got a collar. I'll better put that on, or it looks cute in this skirt, and then might as well put on the top, and then these leg warmers, and then maybe this little headdress, and then these cuff things for my wrists, and then this, and then that, and then this, and then that, and then 20 minutes later, you find out you've put on half the things in your closet onto your body, and now you weigh 20 times as much. VR poodling. Yeah, actually, I kind of am. It is the more basic setup. It is basically just using my index kit as is, as opposed to my index kit plus all of the additional Vive products. They're not even the same brand, so just go with the basic style. And I might make a cute poodle. I might. May have to look and see if I can find a cute poodle avatar to work on with. We'll see. It's got to be good, though. I'm not just going to go up with something that looks like shite. I got to look right. It's got to be fun. True, Dad, yo. And though I do really, really love my Caddie avatar, I am trying to make sure I spend time in other critters too. Because I have a lot of critters in my save directory that I really love, and I like spending time being. That's why the last couple streams I was either like Lucario or Renamon, because I specifically sought out and found a Lucario and several Renamon that I actually really liked. So it gives me the options of enjoying being these things, and being able to share them with all of you. Because that's half the fun. Yes, it's fun to see myself as a Pink Bunny, or a Lucario, or Renamon, but I like it when other people get to see that as well. Share the funsies. I'm sure, yes, I am doing everything right still. Have not messed up yet. Yay! That reminds me. What is this? What is this? How am I? Do I know you? No servers in common. I'm gonna go ahead and ignore that. Come on, click. Thank you. I hate when something is hot and you don't know where. Nope. No, it's not. I'll answer that later. Alright. Boah. Nothing important. I was just clicking through, I saw a Blinky on my Discord, and someone was messaging me, and we had no servers in common, and they just were saying, hi. So if you found my name, yet you have not joined any server I'm on, at all, I don't understand why you would try and communicate with me in a DM. So, general, those are spammers. People just trying to scam me into paying them for art, whether or not they actually are going to produce it. had enough people that have gotten yanked by those things. I get them on Twitter all the time, too. Or X. X. You play on X? You do message on X? I play on Twitter. That reminds me of one of the Tonight Show bits a week or two ago, and Higgins was asking Jimmy a series of questions, and one of them was, okay, now that Twitter is called X, what do people call it? He said, I don't know, X? No, they call it Twitter. Because that's what it still is. They just hide the name, so we all just kept calling it Twitter. Yeah. I mostly use it to look at pictures of fursuits and post stuff myself. Of course, anything I post there, I basically am also posting to my Blue Sky and my Mastodon. So if you're on any of those things, you don't have to look at my Twitter. You can just look at either of the other two, because absolutely the same information is posted to all three at any given time, because I'm not intending to read things all the time. I know some people live on one platform or the other, so here, I'll still have my information. Not like I'm posting anything super secret that I'm like, oh, I don't want to have this company know about this specific thing, because, well, they could find it on all the other places too. It's not like I'm hiding it. If I post it on one social media, it's out there. Yeah. And I definitely have more people following me on that platform still than any of the other ones. Whether or not they're actually reading my posts, that's an entirely different story. I have no idea, and I can't be sure on that. They do have, like, interaction ratio things on them. You know, how many views or it's theoretically had. But that could be as much as someone scrolled past it and it showed up on their screen for half a millisecond, or someone that actually sat down and read it. I don't know. So I just assume someone might have read my posts. Hello, Shadow Wolf. Welcome to the funsies. So far we've just been babbling about stuff and that. And mentioning that I was being a pink bunny tonight for pink bunny reasons. Because pink bunny reasons. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's how I make the tongue stick out on this one. I thought I had it. Okay, so my hand's fully closed, but my thumb's up makes the tongue stick out. Good to know. Ta-da! Mindy be giving me the dog bounce icons. Yeah. Bouncing, 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 bouncing. So tonight was baked chicken thighs. My usual setup. I've been using one of the McCormick Grillmaster chicken seasoning dusts on the chimkins. I did leg quarters again because they are still by far the most cost-effective piece of chicken at my grocery stores, all of them combined. So yes, 10 pounds of leg quarters for, they're currently $7.70. They've gone up by a whole buck since I started buying them, but that's still way cheaper. It's actually cheaper than what my thighs had been before their price went up, which was about $1 a pound. And this is still well under $1 a pound, since it's 10 pounds and $7.70. So like 77 cents a pound. not bad. I can't complain still. And that makes chicken leg worse for today, and then I do them again in 2 weeks. I put the other half in the freezer, in baggies, thaw them out next Monday, 2 weeks from now, and boom. I've not only changed what I'm making between chicken weeks, so I get less bored of any particular food product, and save some money. Smart sometimes. And I mentioned I made a yam. I bought it several weeks ago, but thankfully sweet taters don't go bad that quickly. So it's been in the kitchen on in the tuber shelf effectively for several weeks, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to throw that bad boy in and have it with chimkins. I let it bake for 2 whole hours. It was perfect. If anything, all I could think is, it could have gone longer. Strangely, the innermost part was the most baked. The outermost was where it was still felt a little more undercooked. I don't know how that works. Because in an oven, it's radiant inward heat, so it should have baked the outside most first. It's weird. But hey, maybe next time I'll even cook it longer than 2 friggin' hours at 400 degrees. It was a big one too, so once I can fully use both arms, I'm craving roasting a chimkin. Oh, yeah, buddy. We are T-minus like 3 weeks till Thanksgiving, I think. Because today is the 13th. 1 week will be then. 2.5 weeks, give or take, till Thanksgiving-ish. In which time, I've been roasting a burb. A big old burb. That I always am looking forward to. That is one of the few things that I am 100%... I am proud of the flavor I can get out of a turkey. That all started from a lot of years ago when Fopsy and I just happened to be in Giant, the local grocery store in Carlisle, and we're just walking down the meat aisle, and it was just a little before Thanksgiving. I saw a turkey and a price tag, and then it had if you're using your bonus card price, and it was a nice big turkey. It was going to cost like 50 cents. Something stupid like that. Less than $1 for a full turkey. And I was like, for $1, I can't screw this up. I can't see a way that for $1 I can make this any worse than nothing. And so that day I just picked up a turkey and I roasted it. That was my first turkey so many years ago. And every year since, I have taken the time to make a turkey, whether it was just for the two of us or if it was with friends or whatever. I've made a turkey just because I was like, this is easy. And this tastes really good. Once a year. Because by the time you're done with it, you're done with it. That's too much turkey to have ingested. If we stay home, it might be a smoker day. Ooh, smoked turkeys. Or smoke something. Whatever it is you feel like smorking. Smork. Smork. Like we have over the past quite a few years, we're going to be doing Friendsgiving on the Saturday after Thanksgiving at a friend's house, and, well, we're the ones bringing the turkey. Delicious water. You'd be surprised how much water you actually need when you're talking. Keeps your talker wet. We do have off Thanksgiving itself, but we work on Black Friday. But half our friends are busy doing things with their actual families on Thanksgiving. And if we were to go to even the closest actual family of ours besides my sister, that's a 5-hour drive to my parents' house. So at best, get off work on Wednesday, get in the car at 6 p.m., drive to my parents. By the time you've had at least a gas stop and food on the way, it's midnight when you get there, so you can sleep there, get up, eat a meal that's going to make you sleepy, just so you can leave there by 6 p.m. at the latest, so you can drive back home to get to bed so you can go to work the next day. If you can't follow the logic of why that's a bad idea, you're way too young. I can't explain old person tired enough. I actually make it a point most of the time when I'm coming home from a convention, if at all possible, to have at minimum that day when we're coming back as a free day and I leave in the morning from the convention. Preferably, I also like to take the next day off, if possible, just to make sure I can rest up afterwards. Wild says, my family is spending Thanksgiving in South America, so I need to figure out what I'm doing for Thanksgiving Day, food-wise. Chinese. See if Woo's is open. Woo's delicious Chinese food. Speaking of Chinese food, met up with a moderate group of our locals, including Wild there, for Chinese buffet on Sunday afternoon. It was actually pretty tasty. Even if they call themselves Tokyo Buffet, almost everything on the buffet was Chinese food, or rather, British Chinese food, like General Tso's chicken and whatnot. But to be fair, everything was actually really tasty and really fresh as we were eating it. Out of the 8 of us that were there, we found very few things that anyone was displeased with, surprisingly. I think the egg drop soup got some negative comments, but I normally don't eat egg drop soup on a buffet. Maybe wonton. Maybe, but usually I'll just save that for takeout time anyway, because it's really inexpensive. And though I wouldn't say it was bad, I wasn't impressed with the sushi. Everything that was a roll had something that I either did not want to or could not eat. Minimally cucumber in it, which to me, yeah, I'd probably be willing to eat it if it was in a pre-prepared roll. I just wouldn't enjoy it that much. But anything with mayonnaise on it or cream cheese in it just basically is a right out no for me. That ruins it. If we did go anywhere, it'd be for Wisconsin for family. Well, that is good. At least you have some family not too far away. Hopefully that's not too far away. I'm not exactly sure. I know that's like neighbor zone, but I don't know how close you are to where they physically are. But the sushi I did eat were just the nigiri, and they were fine. Maybe a little better than Kroger sushi or Meyer sushi, but not by much. And there was enough good hot Chinese food there that I would rather filled up on that normally cost me more money. I had quite a few of the dumplings just because I do love a fried dumpling, and for some odd reason they're usually really expensive on takeout. Like, if it's $8 for 6 dumplings, why is it more than $1 per dumpling? That does not make sense to me. I mean, they're tasty, but they're just kind of like a bonus item. So I had at least 5 of those. I had an egg roll. Those generally are at least $1 on a takeout menu. It was okay. It was not the best egg roll. It was good enough. But most of the cooked meat products and whatnot were really nice. I had quite a few of the different chickens that were out there. Pepper chicken, General Tso's chicken, honey chicken, hibachi chicken. I think my favorite of them was the honey chicken. It had a really good flavor to it, and a interesting crisp for being such a saucy chicken product. The crispy outside was still really crispy, and it almost felt like the honey itself added its own extra layer of crispy to the crispy chicken. So it was really tasty. And so this is I think it's called the Tokyo Buffet, if you're ever in Fort Wayne. Many of us have approved of it as food. Totally say it's worth going to if you're looking for a Chinese buffet. The hard part, though, is if you're looking for good sit-down Chinese, it is actually the same parking lot to go to our favorite sit-down place, which is the really nice Chinese place. It's called Wu's. That's about the closest you're going to get to actual authentic Chinese food I've ever seen in the United States. So if that means anything to you, that's where you're going for authentic Chinese. Costs a good bit more than your average takeout. Not like break the bank more, but more like the difference between going to Ponderosa and a Logan's or a Texas Roadhouse. Yes, this place serves steak. This place serves steak better. And it costs better. Not condoning either of those places at this point either. There are so many other places around here to get a good steak if I don't feel like making it myself. Shout out to Cork and Cleaver and the Factory, both of which are very, very good places to get steaks at either reasonable prices at the Factory or about the same price as your Logan's and your Roadhouses at the Cork and Cleaver, and quality is through the roof. Cork and Cleaver is one of a few places I feel that can make a steak better than me. And that's not just ego, that is really saying something. I find they do quality job. Have not eaten there in ages, though, because, well, it does cost money, and it's hard to budget time and money for eating out processes when I mostly like to cook in. Yes, it's some effort, but so is the process of driving to a restaurant, waiting around at a restaurant for a table. Thinking at the same time I could have put steak on the grill, cooked steak, put steak in the house, eaten steak, all before the time that I have actually, started to get ready to go, drove to steak, waited to sit down to eat steak. By this point, I've already eaten steak in this process time frame, and I've just sat down and I'm waiting to order my Coke. Diet Coke. But it also means I didn't have to cook the steak, so there's also that. I like eating out. Foxy does not as much like eating out. Prefers takeout or eating in, and I can understand that. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know what we're doing on Thanksgiving, but I can tell you this much. It's probably not going to be that stressful. If anything, I'm looking to probably make something easy for dinner that day. Just something to sit around the house and enjoy and relax and take our day off in stride. Because there's only like 2 of us working on Black Friday. And it's us 2. So, I'd like to be nice and rested up for that. Relax would be great. I agree. I like relaxed days. That's what I did today mostly, and I still consider this being relaxing. To be honest, what I made for dinner does not cause a lot of stress in the cooking process. Wash yam lightly in water, wrap in foil with salt and pepper, throw in oven for 2 hours. That's not stressful. Place chicken on foil-lined tray, sprinkle with seasoning, place in oven for hour. That has already been on with sweet potato for hour. Instant stuffing. Boil water, stir in stuff. Canned vegetable, heat till hot. I mean, absolutely everything in there has no effort, and that's how I like it sometimes. But it at least tastes good and is more or less fresh. Instant stuffing is not really great for you, but I do enjoy it. I especially have been getting down with Meyer's pork flavored stuffing. It doesn't matter if I'm eating with chicken or not. I actually find it as the one with the most boldest flavor. So that's why we picked that one. Yeah. Blah. Oh, I did do an interesting experimental cooking on Sunday night. Long after I digested the Chinese buffet. In fact, it was almost 10 o'clock when I finally did do this. I took one of our medium-sized frying pans, put a little oil in it, poured in a generous portion of frozen peppers and onions out of the freezer. Not out of the dumpster, out of the freezer, yes. Drank the juice off a can of mushrooms, poured that in, added some garlic, Worcestershire, salt and pepper, and stirred in a heaping helping of leftover unsauced spaghettis. Stirred that all together until it was nice and combined. Made sure that the noodles had a chance to heatably absorb some of the flavors, and some frozen diced chicken was in there too. Tyson brand unbreaded chicken. Stirred it all up till it was nice and flavorly combined. Poured it into a bowl, and that was really good. After having made my veggie cheesesteak a few weeks ago, I'd been re-craving just anything with a big pile of peppers, onions, and mushrooms cooked together with Worcestershire. And I was just like, this could work. I mean, spaghetti's like bread, but in like string form. So I did that. It actually worked out pretty good. To be fair, you put peppers, onions, and mushrooms with Worcestershire and garlic on almost anything, it's probably going to taste good. Yes, Worcestershire makes it not vegetarian, so you could substitute like soy sauce or teriyaki or something for that just to not be non-vegetarian, but I'm not a vegan. I'm allowed to have meat, so Worcestershire. Overall, it does make a nice flavor, and the meat in something with that is basically just second fiddle. The veggies actually, for me, do make the meal, and the meat is just kind of there, and the bread product basically pulls it all together. So in this case, the spaghetti as opposed to a bun, made for a really tasty ordeal. So for anyone who hasn't considered using that kind of thing on nudes, here's a friendly reminder. Yeah, it tasted good. And if you are using frozen peppers and onions, you want to make sure they taste right. My biggest trick is cook them until the water mostly goes away. You don't have to be like completely dry pan by the time you're done, but if you pull them when there's still a big puddle, because they are frozen, they're going to have ice melting into water. If you pull them before that, they haven't really got as good a chance to absorb any other flavors you put in there, such as garlic, salt, pepper, Worcestershire, whatever. It's still in that puddle mostly, not in the vegetable. Once that puddle is reduced, you have a lot more of those flavors are then induced into the veg and not just swimming in the juice you're not going to be eating, so you'll have tastier food. And they're frozen, so they're going to be a little mushy no matter what you do. This just gives them a chance to potentially dry a little bit extra and give you because there's that point where they start to regain a little bit more bite as the liquids go away. And overall, the flavors are more important in my book than the texture, and I want them to taste good. And this way they tend to taste good. But since we are coming up on Thanksgiving, I figured I would give a story. I may have told this one a few times. I don't think I've ever told it on a stream before. It's a Thanksgiving of long, long in the past. Back when I still lived with my parents and was a high school student. We were going to one of our aunt's houses for Thanksgiving that year. And Mom wasn't feeling so good. She had a migraine. So she was going to be staying home. And everybody was okay with this because we understood how Mom with the migraine was. So yeah, she was going to stay home and not be in a room full of stressful, loud family members. Being diverse and controversial to each other at all times. So we were all packing up to go to Thanksgiving, and my sister, being the caring girl she is, decided that her kitties needed to enjoy Thanksgiving too. So, for Thanksgiving, she bought the kitties wet cat food, which at the time, these kitties didn't normally eat wet cat food. They normally ate kitty crunchies. So, this was a special treat, and to their digestive systems, a special experience. Not only did she buy them delicious wet cat food, she specifically picked turkey wet cat food because it was Thanksgiving. Now, the kitties know Mom is the best one to help them if they're not feeling good. Not my sister. My sister is the one that would pick them up and hug them at the time, and my mother was the one that would fix problems. So, these poor kitties who have now had something that tasted really, really good, but their tummies did not understand happily, went to poor migraine Mom who was sitting on the recliner in the living room. Because Mom might help them feel better. And they both laid down on Mom. That isn't so bad. That part's like, oh, you're coming to love me, yay. Yeah, they had a tummy ache because of gas. So at first it's two kitties snuggling up to Mom, which very quickly turned into two kitty cats snuggling up to Mom making turkey farts. So while we're all out an hour or so away at an aunt's house eating turkey, Mom is stuck at home, barely able to move because of migraine, under two cats who have decided to camp down on her, farting stanky, stanky turkey farts the whole time. I cannot see this being a pleasant process for any of the three people involved, either two cats or Mom. But she has survived because she's still alive today. So, that's a little story from many a Thanksgiving it passed. Remember, kids, if your cat or dog is not used to eating a certain food product, don't feed it to them as a treat and then go away. Their tummy may not agree with you it was a treat, and you may have just doomed the person who's stuck with the pet to dealing with a pet who is now uncomfortable. In more recent news, this last Friday, the lovely Fopsy was off, took PTO day for personal time, which is awesome. Totally approved. No questions there. And in the morning, went off to run some errands, including stopping at a store, buying a couple of groceries, which I really appreciate. Very helpful. And when the Fopsy came back home, I was upstairs in the workroom, which looks out over the driveway. I saw the car come into the driveway, backing in, and then it just sat there, and I heard the garage door making noises, but the car wasn't backing up. Like, is the car broken? No. And I go down and I find out the garage door isn't opening. This is not good. Before I even made it down there, Fopsy had attempted to use the manual pull thing, which we had to use in the past whenever power was out, to open the garage door, because the garage door opener does not do anything useful when there's no electricity. Spoiler alert, the garage door opener does not do anything when your power is out. So I went and I attempted it because, well, I am the walking wall, and I couldn't make the door move, and I thought, that's odd, because when you pull that release, it's taking it off the drivetrain, so pulling that motor out of the picture, what could possibly have gone wrong? And there couldn't be anything. And I looked up at above the door, and I saw the problem. I was like, oh. How a garage door works is there's this big coiled spring above the door that actually does the lifting process for you. Basically, it's a series of... The spring does the counterbalances for you, effectively, and for the drivetrain itself, to effectively take all the work out of either you pulling on the manual string, or that little drive chain is basically just telling the door to move this direction, and the springs do an offset way to effectively make that giant wall you're lifting have almost no weight. Kinda cool how it does that. Kinda sad whenever you find out your problem is the spring on the right looked good. The spring on the left was now two springs. About a third of the way into spring number left, it had snapped. And because the whole thing is based on its being rooted down on either end of the spring points. It now had no tension on the left side, which I'm guessing, from how it felt, is the lifty-uppy side, whereas the other one is the pushy-downy side. So it was extra heavied with and basically locked into place. Since the Fopsy had already been out and had an adventure in the morning and had done several errands before coming back to find this, I did take the onus of finding a garage door repair person. Surprisingly, there are a lot of them here in Fort Wayne. Unsurprisingly, thinking of it more in the long run of, there are so many garage doors. You have to have repair people. It's kind of a given. That's a business. In my initial looking, I did ye old Google Mapsing. All the ones that were super close to us had like 1-star ratings. So I just cut all of those out of the list. And I went right up to, alright, who's the top rated ones? The first one had information on how to contact them. Yes, they fixed door springs. They even had a picture of what it looked like when the door spring was broken, and I was like, that's exactly the way ours broke. That's almost even the exact point of where ours broke. Are you in the garage taking pictures? No, the seal looked different, so it's not our garage. Did you steal our spring, put it in the garage, and then take a picture, then put it back? That is a very specific, weird thing to have done. But their website didn't have any kind of prices. They just had free quotes. So I gotta wait around for you to come here, then give us a quote on it, and then be able to repair it, maybe? Let me just at least look at person number 2. I looked up person number 2, and one of the main tabs on their website was quotes of how much things cost. Including, specifically, how much replacing 1 spring was, and how much replacing 2 springs was. I was assuming I should probably get both springs replaced, and we did. Since if one broke, the other one will almost definitely be the same age, and will probably need replaced soon anyway, and it costs less when you're doing 2 at once. And they had quotes on the page which say they're estimates for 1 spring or 2 springs. They're like, okay, at least I can assume it's going to be, if nothing else is wrong, and it looks like nothing else is wrong, knock on wood. Beep. Squeak. Looks like nothing else is wrong. Hopefully it's going to be about that. There was also a list about, this is a total charge. There's also right above that some information about what it will be for just maintenance, what the basic trip charge is. And I was like, okay, good enough. The amount they were listing there was not scary. I mean, I didn't want to pay money for this, mind you, but it was not in anywhere near a scary zone. So, I gave them a ring. It's about 10 a.m. at this point. Guy answers right away and says, when do you need this done by? I was like, well, it's not like life-threatening or anything, but as soon as possible would be nice. He said, okay, I can do it after lunch. Like, it's 10 a.m. and he's already telling me he can do it after lunch. I'm ecstatic. Just text me the address, this same number, and we'll have somebody come out. Okay. I texted them the address. I didn't hear my phone buzz again a little bit later. I went on my break, went down to look at things, take pictures, just personal record of the whole sitch. Apparently they texted back and saying, is 3 to 4 okay? I missed that until I got back upstairs. So it was like a half hour later I was able to respond and say, yeah, 3 to 4 is fine, that's okay. That's perfectly fine, we're good. We're not trying to get anywhere. Then I got a call about noon saying, well, since we didn't hear from you right away, we just kept you at the same time frame we told you initially. I'm like, oh, so better time frame. That's in a half hour. Sent a message down to Fopsy downstairs saying, they're going to be here in 30 minutes.
30 minutes works for you.
Which is awesome. So the guy said, all right, it's going to be a blue pickup truck, and they're going to be there at 12:30. Okay. Awesome. No problems here. Assuming nothing goes wrong, no problems with us. It was even a couple minutes early. It was like 12:28 when I saw the blue truck pull in. I'm like, wow, you guys are good. We called you at 10, and it's 2.5 hours later, and you're coming to fix my thing. I was expecting next Tuesday or something, not 2.5 hours. Apparently the guys were really nice. It was Dude and his trainee, who was actually a kid, learning the basics. When he got there, he's like, yeah, this will take maybe about a half hour. Yep, we'll replace both springs. Take care of it. Fopsy opened the human door for the garage. Fortunately, we have one of those, so it was easy for them to get in. They got in. They replaced the spring. I think overall it was about 40 minutes total because they were leaving right at 10 after 1. Not complaining, mind you. Not complaining one bit. Just noting that's the total how long it took. And the only thing that scared me was when they were getting finished or whatnot. They opened and closed the door several times. I was like, oh no, something is wrong because they've had to do this more than a few times. Something didn't go right. I panicky this bad. It's not going to just be the spring. It's going to be the drive chain and the motor and the roof and the door and I don't know, the water heater somehow need replaced too. It's just everything was going through my head of everything that could have gone wrong in this process. And I make it downstairs. I hold my lunch off till they're done. Fortunately, I freeze here. That's awesome. Hey now. No, run off me. There we go. Thank you, VR chat, for thinking I wanted to zoom forward. So I came down for my lunch about 10 minutes later than I normally do. And they have just left. Fopsy wrote them a check, which was one of the two main plans, either the Sam's Club credit card, which we get cash back on, or a check, which is fine. The money was there. The website had quoted $205 for one spring, $305 for two springs. The entire bill was exactly $305 total, no extra fees, no trip charge, no labor on top of that. That was just it. It was a flat fee. And they did all sorts of extra stuff too, apparently, which I'm guessing was where all the extra grinding noise of the machine was, because they tightened the chain, they oiled the chain, they explained to Fopsy about which oils and things to put on it every 6 months or so to make sure it's running at its best. And they were like, and this is stuff that could be wrong in the future. You may want to look into replacing yourself. You don't need to pay for us to do this, like some piece of weather stripping and some minor rust at the very bottom of the door tracks, which isn't interfering with its functionality. Just if we want to replace it somewhere down the line, they could look into preferably refurbished ones. why waste buying new ones? Which, all in all, 100% awesome. They went above and beyond, and they charged us a flat fee. And now we have a shiny new set of door springs on that grudge door. I am in my happy. Nothing went wrong. And the car is back parked inside the house again, happily. I'd say the hardest part about that whole process was the fact that the car was parked outside all of Friday, all of Saturday, until we actually left the house on Sunday, because I didn't really feel like just going out there to back the car up, 10 feet to be in the garage. I didn't care that much that the car was outside. So when we left for lunch on Sunday to the Chinese restaurant, we actually went out the front door. I know, we actually used our front door for something. To go get into the car in the outside world, to then drive somewhere. Scary, huh? Hydrate, yeah, I probably need that. Well, hello there, all stants. Welcome to the fun, bun. I'm sure you're not going to complain that I'm being a bunny today, and I'm going to hydrate like a good one. Yum yum. Thank you, Mindy. I will not complain about you being a wet rabbit. No. You silly bunny. Now, as far as garage door things, I think that spring breaking was about the last thing I expected as far as what parts were going to break the garage first. I didn't even consider it being a thing that would break. Things I would expect to break. The chain that feeds the garage door up and down, I thought that might break first. The motor that runs it, I thought that would have a chance to be what breaks. In the back of my head, this has not been a thing I had ever considered or worried about being something that broke. Good news, though. Not only do we now have a garage door repair person who stuck their phone number on our button, we let them put it there, so that we know who to call if something ever happens again. But it was not a bank-breaking experience. And it's now a part that is brandy spanking new in our house. I'll go fetch the bucket. No, Fopsy, you're not going to go make me wet for all stunts. Humph. 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 You silly goofs. So, that was our most recent exciting. I did spend most of the weekend trying to be a relaxed critter. I had a little extra stress on Saturday, but I wound up relaxing, finding my own way to relax afterwards. Never plan things around other people's potential schedules. That is my new continuing mantra. There's a certain level of, if I'm going to do something on a Saturday, on my day off, I have to plan around it, because it is the day off where I would potentially go to Sam's Club, or go to the mall, or go do any number of things that involve daylight and me being outside. That's when I would do it, my first day off in a weekend, where I can easily get up at my leisure, go out and do the thing, and I can then relax and recover thereafter. Now, if I say want to have plans on a weekend, Flopsy is putting you in the bucket to prevent the carpet from getting... Well, that would probably help. We have some totes I'd fit in. If I were to go out, it does involve a certain amount of recovering thereafter. So, yeah, I need some rest time. I need some me time after I go to Sam's Club or the mall or whatever, because I'm tired. I've been on my feet for several hours doing things, possibly carrying things, possibly lifting things, like a brand new desk chair, like I got 2 weekends ago, or some bags at the mall that they may not be that heavy at first, but after you've been to about 5 stores and now you've collected a small collection of things, that bag's now starting to get heavy, and you've been walking around for an hour or two, and it's all just on your hand this whole time, so, yeah, tired. Also not as young as I used to be, so, yeah, I know I get tired sooner. Just kind of learn to live with that. I work around that. So, for me, if I'm planning to do something with someone online at, say, 7 p.m., I basically budget around that and know I'm not going to be able to go out and go to some stores that Saturday or go out and do errands. I stay home, I do my best to make sure I've had dinner early, etc., etc. So to plan for something that's going to be at 7 p.m., I've eaten dinner at 5, instead of like 6 or even 7 on average on the weekends. So I've cooked and eaten up to 2 hours early, easily, and made sure I've digested well enough so I'm not going to be bloating or anything when I get on VR and meet up. Unfortunately, the group I was meeting up with was going to be delayed. I found that out right about the same time I was getting in, but I decided, okay, still I'm going to get on at 7, get myself strapped in, make sure everything's working, make sure my trackers are behaving, and the program's actually loaded. I have to restart Steam or my computer had Steam 6 times. I'm like, okay, 7 o'clock, meeting up, great. And then it's going to be 7:30. That's fine. Half hour, I'll get on at 7, which I did. Made sure everything was working. It did take a restart, so not too mad about that. I'm sitting around being ready. 7:30 rolls around. No sign of anyone. One of the people was going to be late because they were traveling. That's fine. It's still a meetup. That means other people in the meetup are going to be available. That's my theory. No one else was getting on apparently until that one person was showing up. So I was on by myself, sitting around it was a little after 8 o'clock when I finally said, well, I'm done with this, because I was sitting in VR with my pop-up screen here that I use to read chat, browsing the internet, inconveniently with my index controllers, and all of a sudden it stopped working, so my one distraction had stopped, so I just exited VR, took my headset off, and left the room, physically. It was about the time Flopsy said, oh, people are showing up now. I'm like, that's fine, I'm done. I wasn't in the mood. I didn't care anymore. I waited an hour, no one showed up. And that waiting an hour was not the only amount of time that's involved in waiting for something to happen. For me, I had to move my personal life schedule up by several hours and dedicate a bunch of things I wasn't going to do to be at a thing. So to say the least, not only was I mad that I wasted all this time, I was mad that no one showed up, and I sat around for an hour after having dedicated multiple hours to make sure I wasn't going to be late for this and I'd be available to be there. So, no, I was not a happy camper. no, I'm not going to make time to go to that meetup again. I've been getting a little bit of pouty faces from people from two different meets that happened on Saturday that I don't show up, that I had been showing up at somewhat, that I wasn't showing up at, and I don't like when people give me grief for being tired and not wanting to get on VR and run around and play Prison Escape. Like, no, this is not relaxing for me. That's effort. That's not relaxing. My version of relaxing is sit down in a cuddle puddle, or sit down in a cuddle puddle with a movie playing. You're not expected to talk. You're not expected to do anything. At best, petting, snuggling, relaxing. So, a little while after the meetup had finally started, I decided I'm going to go on VR again. But I'm not going to go to the meetup because I don't care anymore. I'm mad at this. I went and found some of my other friends and just kind of hung out with them. Saw somebody was online. I sent them a request. They were watching a movie? Fine. I don't care what it is. I went, walked my character up next to people, sat down, snuggled up, watched the end of a movie. Then those ones went to bed. They were wrapping up their evening. I was like, that's fine. It was nice. Got to see some people. We hung out. And then I saw there was another group of people I knew that were also online watching a movie. I was like, I'm gonna go hang out with them. And I did. Now, the first place I went to watch a movie, it actually was playing fine for me. Watched the end of the movie. It was something I've enjoyed. It's something from back when I was a teenager, okay? So it's not exactly a new movie, one I hadn't seen before. And I was happy to pop in where it was. The second group of people, it was actually another weekly meetup, one I'd been missing going to because, to be honest, no one made me feel stressed if I was or wasn't there ever. They just always felt inclusive if I was there, which is definitely a nicer feeling. So I just sort of showed up. One of my friends that was there immediately came out, found me, and said which room they were specifically sitting in at the at this instance of the movie and chill place. Followed him in, sat down next to where they were, relaxed. This time the movie was not playing right for me, but I didn't care. All I cared was I was with my friends. I was just snuggled up, relaxing, chilling. Ironically, it's a movie I have not seen yet, but I have definitely seen a certain 5-minute period of it about 10 times over now, because it kept looping from 51 minutes to 56 minutes. So I know minutes 51 to 56 of Five Nights at Freddy's memorized. I got that down. That 5-minute period, I got it. But all I cared was I was with a couple of friends, relaxing, just sitting, not feeling like any pressure was on me, and people that were happy to know that I was there. So that worked out pretty well in the end. Afterwards, I actually did make an effort to thank both of those groups of people for hanging out with me, because I was kind of in a grumpy space. And I was set to push to talk since there was someone in my room that was still going to both of those meetups that I did not end up going to Saturday night. So I was just sitting there on text box version. But that didn't seem to bother anybody. Everyone was happy I was there. And that made me feel better. I should make an effort to watch shows with you again. My Saturday's been free for months now, and I often don't get on VR at all that day. Well, I can't promise I'm always free, but you are someone I do like cuddling up and watching TV with, so I wouldn't mind. Plenty of good things out there to watch at this point. I should make you watch Doom Patrol. We need to find one of the movie places that has that on their queue. I think you'd have a good time. It's fun. It's not too bad. It's another comic book movie, TV series thing. And I think it just actually ended. Nepal! You are never late. You officially arrive whenever you meant to. That works for wizards and plushies. Besides, if you missed any of the fun stories you'd like to hear back from this last hour and 16 minutes, you can always watch it later on either the upload on Twitch here or the one I throw on YouTube. Both of which I appreciate either way if anyone watches, because, well, gets me watch hours on YouTube, which might get me more attention, and here I still get ad money. And attention points, which counts towards whether or not people see my streams on, so also helps. But yes, my whole week is booked this week, aside from Saturday. Tonight I got a date, tomorrow I'm getting hypnotized, and so on and so forth. You're a busy little bun. For me, Monday nights and Wednesday nights are streaming, which takes up most all of my actual free time of a weekday evening. Tuesday nights and Friday nights, when Fopsy streams, before Fopsy streams, I end up recording a YouTube video. And generally I'm on relax mode, aka non-social, during that the time Fopsy's streaming. And Thursday is grocery night. Thanksgiving week's going to be a little mess up, but that's usually happens with holidays. But Thursday I get off work, I go grocery shopping. That usually takes a couple of hours, and then I basically crash in my chair until the rest of the night. I have moved grocery shopping from the weekends to Thursday. I did that almost well over a year ago at this point, I think. It oddly makes my week a lot easier to deal with. Because then when Saturday rolls around, if I do want to go out to a store, I can do it on my terms, not on the terms of I need to stop at Meijer and Walmart and buy chicken legs and canned vegetables and whatnot, all of our regular day-to-day products. I do all that on a weeknight when the store is less busy. I leave the house at 6 p.m., go down a road that's not really that busy at 6 p.m., to the stores that are not busy on a Thursday. So, less people to deal with in 100% of different ways, which is really good for me. I've learned that I definitely apparently do have a certain level of social anxiety that, yes, my shirt is advertising my feelings on this, Social Anxiety Social Club. Because I started doing things that I later found out are things that people with social capability issues do. Specifically, one of the things I normally like to do, one, shop on a night when it's not busy. Thursday, great. It's one of the least busy days to go to the store. Also, when I'm shopping, I wear headphones. I wear, I have a pair of pink earbuds and a small pink MP3 player that I clip onto my purse strap. And I shop in my own world. I block out as much of the actual rest of the people around me as I can. And I found that makes the shopping experience a million times more tolerable. Only to find out later by watching YouTube videos about psychology and things and finding out, oh, people with basic social disorders find this to be very, very helpful, is to wear headphones. People with autism often will wear headphones to block out all of the distraction. I'm like, huh. Yeah, it does help. Makes things easier. I don't know if I have one of these problems, and I don't mean to call them a problem, but one of these situations. But apparently the solution to it helps me pretty good, so I ain't gonna complain. Very important to remember, just because a solution is for a certain situation, that doesn't necessarily mean you have that situation because something does feel good. Case in point, you, for some reason, feel better if you eat pickles and ice cream. That doesn't make you pregnant. That makes you odd, but that doesn't make you pregnant. Ironically, that means you probably needed sugar and salt, because the salt is what the pickles are coming in for mostly when people crave those. So yeah. But I do look at it as it's good to find out things that can be helpful to make your day-to-day easier, because then, hey, you made you feel better and it didn't hurt anybody. Because it doesn't hurt anybody that I wear my MP3 player when I'm walking around the store. If anything, it just helps me feel better, because not only am I blocking out all of that noise of Walmart and Meijer, and believe me, anytime my battery dies and I'm stuck out there hearing it, I realize how much annoying noise from people and things are in these stores. It blew my mind after having been shopping with headphones in for so long. Anytime I have to hear the real world for any length of time, it's like, how do people do this? This loud is not tolerable. At this time you're also blocking out Xmas. Yes, I am, because there's only one Christmas song in my MP3 player, and that definitely wouldn't be playing on the loudspeaker. Rudolph the something throat reindeer. He wore a skirt and pantyhose. Yeah, that one. I like that song. That one's even on the MP3 CD in the car. That's how much I like that song year round. But yes, blocking out Christmas music is very important. Oh, big yawner there. Growl. It also gives me a chance that I don't normally give myself, since I don't drive to work anymore, to actually listen to my music. Yes, I'm listening to it on the way to and from the store, but that's 5 minutes each way. 7 if I had all the stoplights. 15 if I'm going each way if I'm going to the mall. 20 for Sam's Club. So that's the only times I might hear my music on a normal day-to-day, because I don't just sit down and listen to tunes. But when I'm walking around the store for 2 hours-ish total, the whole process takes 2 hours from leaving the house to getting back and having the car unpacked normally, on average. So not the entire time listening to music, but it gives me some time every week to listen to things off my MP3 player, and that's a good thing. Gives me a little time with music, a little time to jam in my head. Something I probably should take more time for, but when I'm at home, I find other things I'd rather be listening to, like YouTube, the TV, or somebody's Twitch stream or whatnot. Pull that back up. Thank you. Let's see if that'll happen. Okay, that's giving me enough. That's fine. Boop. And definitely, for any of us who have worked retail during the Christmas season, we've all learned to despise Christmas music in the normal sense. So, it's good to be able to block that out. I'm happy I don't hear that on any stretch of time. I mean, you're around people who never worked retail, and you're at their house during a holiday season, and they think it's fun to turn on the Christmas CD they picked up with all these just slightly retunings of previous year's Christmas musics, and they insist we have to listen to it, and like one song in, you're already like, I hate football, but is there football? Can we just anything? Just seriously anything. Especially bad though when it comes for, yeah, it is bad when it's before Thanksgiving. That really is bad. I'll be honest, I have not been dead headphoned in the store yet, so I've not had to experience if they are or aren't. I literally avoid actually hearing the store 99.9%. I couldn't tell you what any of the words were happening over the loudspeaker. I will say the almost every store I go to had already had at least some level of Christmas setup long before Halloween. Some of them early October had already started setting up at least part of Christmas. Oh, they are, depending on the store. They probably are. And I'm going to continue to not hear them as much as humanly possible. I have plenty of good, loud, fun music that blares in my big bunny ears while I'm walking around the store shopping for food products. Heck, even sometimes I will actually do a little bit of dance while I'm doing the shopping. Just because, you know what, I'm in my space, I'm not hurting anyone, I'm going to enjoy myself. And I like that. So that is a definite things Caddie does. Matt came to this world originally just because I was looking for something different, and this is a little bit dark and boring for me. I'm going to see if I can find a better place to be. Ah, MySpace. That's the site I've not heard of in a long while. A long while. Honestly, I don't think I ever even... I may have browsed to MySpace once, but I've never had one. We're going to do a quick browse around this place. It's not that exciting. It's apparently a club I picked one of the upstairs areas. There's a blackjack table there. I was at the other table like this one on the other side, which is, I'm not sure what all the buttons do, but probably a mirror and stuff. Colliders. Oh. Deck of cards. Well, that's kind of cool. And reset. I guess that's a poker table. There's some private rooms apparently. Here, you can see them behind me. Cruise down this little windy staircase back to the main floor. There's a lounge. There's a free avatar thing there. Ooh, lounge. There's some pictures and some of the usual culprit games. Like, there's a Connect 4 here. There's ye old pool table. I'm in it, so just the easiest way to show it. Pool table. And one of the sillier ones, beer pong. Oh, you know what? It's here. Nope. Nope. Okay. I'm done annoying that. Apparently a lounge. This definitely does have a mirror, though. Ta-da! There we are. Now you can see me seeing me. Aren't you excited? There's my backside. You can see my tail. Tail. You can also see the fact that because I'm not using my leg trackers or my waist, it looks like I'm squatting instead of sitting. I don't care. Let's see if anything interesting happened in chat. I'll wait to join until you find a new world. It's a good tale. Thank you. I was about to ask. Alright, well, let's go look for another place. And by all means, you're welcome to join me, Nepal. I don't mind. Let's see where I want to go. Search. What word do I want to look for? The usual. Yeah, that looks good. New instance. Invite press. Yoin. Now for the exciting phase of loading. Aren't you just intrigued? Initializing world. Just from the picture, this looks much more decent and more up my speed. I may have been here before. Eh. Too bad Denny's not on. She would appreciate. It's a Sanri based world. Ooh. There's another room. A boudoir. A closet. I came out of the closet. There was what looks like a window. This big loungy chair that looks like kind of like our lounge chair in the living room at home for reals. We have one that's big and round like that. There's a pet bed. And a big person bed. It's actually pretty nice. Sounds kind of jolt. Some shelves that I can climb. Oh yeah. I think I'll park out here. There's a mirror, that's always convenient. I wonder if I turn colliders off. Toggle colliders. Thank you. Because I seem to be not needing them. There. That's easier for me. Alright, let us re-clunk that world. Ta-da. Let's see if I missed anything important. No, nothing happened. Hopefully you're all enjoying that little walk around. And yes, I think I'm pretty well parked here, Nepal. If you're bored and we're looking towards fun. Well, whatever level of fun you call this. It's a fairly static world, but it's nice. And there's a pillow, in case you need a movable pillow. It's got physics, too. I was able to throw it. Always more fun. That one? That one's also physics. Nice! 2 good pillows. I love it. That's just positionable. You sit there. Think about what you did. That's fun. I'm happy here. Now, speak of the plushie. Yes, absolutely. Well, hello, Ranuki. Well, welcome to my world. And yes, absolutely, I will happily hydrate. And you are more than welcome to lurk. I am okay with that. And how are you doing, Cutie Pie, who is currently lurking? If you feel like answering, you're not required to. Ads. Of course it's ads. That's when things happen, when someone new shows up. They will pass. I promise. And we should have a plushie hopefully showing up anytime soon. It was only about a 70 megabyte world, so it shouldn't take long. Depending on her current internet speed and how busy stuff is. Yay, you made it. You loaded it. And you're a cute pink kitty. How are you doing tonight? Well, thank you. I appreciate you matching. How are you doing tonight, pretty kitty? Good girl. Well, now you may relax. I was lazy and didn't run errands today. Oh, please feel free. There's a bedroom that way. Oh, Lego Maniac, you came into... Thank you for joining. So, 7 days ago, I found LMG who trust me. Oh, my. Well, that's not a bad thing. I know they're not your favorite types of sets there, oh, Maniac of the Lego. But I did pre-order the new modular set. Apparently it's coming out December 1st this year instead of January 1st. It's going to be a museum. 7 Days to Die. Oh. Don't die in 7 days. It would be bad. Hmm. This year it's going to be another plate and a half one like the brick square was, I think it was called, which I also have. So, big building. Gonna be a nice big construct in my house. Gonna have to make room in my city. I'm on day 44. Don't worry, I'm fine. Good, good. No dying there. No dying there, leggers. The good news is we can rebuild you if you do. You just gotta get enough pieces. Lego also is adding to my addiction. They released a new airplane. Like, ugh. Do you really want me to be broke? Fortunately, it's not that bad, but I mean, still, it's another airplane, and I need it. Last time I put together all and I say that roughly, my Lego airplane stuff, I filled up the 8-foot folding table completely, and I had another table I had it sitting next to it that I put another plane on that didn't fit there. I referred to it as O'Hare on a good day. Because the airplanes were just barely squeezing it together. Like, they'd just be parked to the ways that I could get stuff in places. No one could take off. None of the runways were useful. None of the airport terminals were pointedly placed other than they were in the background. And yes, I have a lot of airport terminals over the years from either legit Lego or off-brand. In fact, over the last 5 to 10 years maybe, I have found a lot of off-brand Lego airports that were actually really well constructed and definitely were able to add to my airport hardware, be it more ground support trucks and things and staircases or buildings. And even the airplanes have been actually really well constructed. Slubon made a plentiful supply of nifty airplanes. And they were not quite Lego quality on the plastic and not quite Lego quality on the construct stability, but close enough. They look good next to Lego stuff, so just added to the entourage. They fit better than the girl Legos do with the regular Legos, because those girl Lego ones that have the people, little doll people, their seats are so different shaped because they're accommodating for the weird butt that doesn't have snap butts on it, and they look funny. They're all skinny and twiggy, where a Lego person isn't. But the planes in general looked fine whenever you don't consider the little humanoid sitting inside. Did you enjoy your little walkabout there, little plushie?
Yes.
Nice bedroom, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We have a chair almost like that round one that's in front of the window in the other room. Like in real life.
Nice.
It is so comfy, and we never sit on it. Because reasons.
What, because it's covered in plush?
Sometimes. Most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
That makes sense.
normally when it's just the two of us, one of us will gravitate towards the Shea Lounge end of the main couch, and the other one will go on the long part of the main couch. So we have our spots that are fully stretch-outable. And that one you can't quite fully stretch out on for a long movie watch. I mean, you could, but it's not the same. Good girl.
Also, I heard the O'Hare on a Good Day comic. The only time O'Hare on a Good Day is when there's one pine fall.
That was referring to my pileup of Lego planes when I put them all together on the 8-foot folding table. Yes. I think it made a very good experience of O'Hare on a Good Day, as it was completely, solidly full of airplane. Poking in and out just in any way I could fit them.
I mean, that's O'Hare everything.
Exactly. I've had an obsession with Lego airplanes since I was pretty young, so this is not a new problem. This is just a continuing problem. I have two of the first straight-up airport sets that Lego ever made. A Lego Freight Airport and a Lego People Airport back from the early 80s. And it's only gotten worse from there.
So that was a while ago.
And looking at that freight airplane, which was my first one, it's so tiny compared to my most recent freight airplane, which has 4 engines on it and is, like, I think it's like 20-some inches, like maybe 30 inches across from the wingspan and about that long. It's like, this is huge. I love it. I think that freight airplane is the biggest. Nope, never mind. No, the last one I bought was bigger. The one larger people airplane that came out that I bought off of eBay because I didn't get it when it was new was slightly longer.
Hey, as long as all the pieces are.
Oh, heck yeah. Only one did I have that was really missing anything important, and I wouldn't even consider it super important. It was more like a Lego Osprey with the 2 giant propellers that go upward for takeoff. It was missing a 2x1 flat green piece for part of the top of it. For the longest time, I had just used. I found I had a 2 green 1 short pieces with a dot on top. I used those, and as time went by, I had wound up with some green flat piece extra wonders from, because new sets often have extra bits for the tiny stuff. I got, okay, here's one flat one, replace one of the ones with the dot. Here's another flat one, replace that one. Done. Set fixed.
I mean, you're not technically wrong.
And since I've been collecting Legos for ever, since like 84, 83, I have plenty of spare bits, both because I haven't been able to suss out absolutely every set I've owned into set again. I did my best to get as many as I could out into baggies, printing instructions whenever I can. But I know I had quite a few things that weren't just like things. Because when you're a little kid back then, sometimes your parents would get you the box of bricks that may or may not have some vague instructions that you can build a house or something. We don't know. We don't care. Just have pieces. Go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I have plenty of those.
That's what I had when I was little.
I'll buy you some instructions later.
Oh, I don't have one.
Aww. So I gotta buy you Legos.
I donated, I donated them to my neighbor's parents who had, what was it,
That's fair. I also had been more than a few times been the rescuer of someone's Legos that they were abandoning. So occasionally I would get a mixed bag of parts that were just in someone's apartment or whatever, and it was like, well, those are mine now. I'm just sorting them into the piece buckets.
Extra random pieces is not bad.
I made a lot of good use of those in the last year. Ooh, I see my pink rabbiting and a pink kitty. Yes, you do, all stance. That's Nepal being a cute pink kitty. This year I made a project because I built a lot of my old Lego castle stuff. And I do have a lot of old Lego castle stuff, most of which I bought off of eBay. I'm going to totally defend that eBay concept. 10 or more years ago, because they cost too much now to buy any of these. So I put together a lot of the 80s castle stuff, including all but one of the wall add-on buildings they'd made. I was like, this could be bigger. I remember getting the little Lego sales books that came in with your Legos, and they'd often had pictures of conceptual stuff you could do besides, you could buy this set and this set. But look, we also made this gigantic effing wall of doom. I'm like, I always wanted to do that as a kid. And I never had enough pieces. So I went on the eBays and I bought bags of wall pieces and a castle that was incomplete. So I got it for pretty cheap, and that meant I got a lot of extra building brick bits and a few of the bendy parts and stuff like that. And I made a stack of wall add-ons that match the 80s castle genre. So I have I think I made 6 of these little chunks of walls, some that are straight angles, some that are bending, and some that are straight. And I think I still have about 6 or 7 more pieces of castle wall that I didn't use because I was running out of attachment bits.
Are these the castle walls that are on hinges that can open up?
Yes. So I can take King's Castle, Knight's Castle, Black Falcon's Fortress, and all of these wall pieces and snap them all together to a gigantic circular wall of doom. Because yes, I did make sure to put the little mounting blocks on the bottom, the little Technique circle bits with a peg in them. So they're ready to work. I have not field tested them, as in I've not picked up King's Castle and Knight's Castle and Black Falcon's Fortress, which are all currently put together, move them into the living room where I have enough floor to just snap them to a giant loop. But if I wanted to, I could.
I'd be afraid about them tripping hazard.
Well, that's the problem, is if I did that, I'd have to do it and then pick it back up almost immediately. It'd be like, I put it together, take a couple of pictures, now carry it all back into the other room, and that's through the kitchen, so I'd have to walk them all that way and worry about dropping parts and stuff, or a night might fall off. It's too much effort. But I'm happy I did it. And it fulfilled a lifelong dream, so that's a plus. I get nostalgic from my old Lego collection once in a while. I used to make great sized cities with my Legos. Well, while you're welcome to come over to my house and play with my big city. It is large and very full. Your tail is so pretty. Kitty tail, kitty tail, kitty tail.
Yes.
I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
I do that.
Pretty girl. Mm. In general, trying to keep relaxed here lately, and I am working okay with that. Nervous about both MFF and Thanksgiving, which are both coming up in a row, so that's two things to deal with, and less time to relax in between.
Wait, you're gonna have time to relax in between? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're not working. So you have more time.
Time between is relative because we do Thanksgiving on Saturday, which means Sunday I have to pack the car then to leave on Thursday. Also, that is our last day off before leaf collection happens, so if I want to rake up the leaves, I probably have to do it on that Sunday. And yes, I could do a good bit of it now, but looking up at the canopy, there's still a lot of leaves up there. So even if I did it, I'd thought about doing some today, but even if I had done it today, I'd still have to do it again. Leaves are stupid.
I saw a thing that apparently it helps mitigate mosquitoes if you don't rake your leaves. I don't know about the actual truth of that, but it was interesting.
Well, I'm very helpful then at that, because I'm lazy about raking the leaves, and quite a few years so far I have failed to do so before the big leaf vacuums came by. It's also free fertilizer. If you mow them over, then you have all that broken down plant stuff to feed the grass and things. We do try and mow over as much of it as we can, but there's only so much you can do. When, if you look at where our house is from Google Maps, you just see trees. That's how much tree we have around here. And we're in a suburbia. It's pretty. It's a mess. Lego says, I'm sure I'll do fine. I am sure I will too. Thank you for your confidence there, O maniac of the legs. I did finish any and all sewing projects I wanted to do for myself for MFF. I do have one for Fopsy I need to deal with, but I need confirmation of exactly how big of a thing I'm making, so once I get measurements, I'll just mow that out pretty quick. Sewing speed has been going up in my world. I realized, even without even putting effort into it, I was like, oh, that was 42 inches. I sewed that around both times already, both passes? Huh. Well, I guess I gotta go cut the next piece of fabric.
Seems like I looked up. Seems like I was wrong. Raking the leaves does help mosquitoes, but leaving them helps, like fertilize and stuff.
I'm for fertilization, so not too worried about mosquitoes. We don't leave our house that often anyway. I'm what you might call indoorsy. Yeah. Complete contrast to young me. Before pre-Atari / Nintendo Caddie. If it was a day that it wasn't raining, me and the laundry basket of He-Mans or the Voltron would be out in the backyard playing. Because that's what you did. Mommy has a headache, go in the backyard and play.
In my case, it was mostly climbing over the 30-foot tall honeysuckle bushes.
There didn't have any trees and things around I could climb. I sad. Also, anytime we climb on anything, we get yelled at, so... How's the parents are never watching until the moment you climb on something, and then all of a sudden they're at the door staring at you?
I'm going to chalk that to parental radar.
Yeah, they just happen to know. Parents.
Well, it was mostly my mother's radar.
My leaves are stuck in the backyard, so I just let them be mulch. I am all for that most of the time. My backyard is the one thing I most dread, having to wheelbarrow back up to the front yard, too, and there's more leaves back there where we are. I already can't see the grass. And the maple is still full. Yard work is dumb. Honestly, we probably, as a people, shouldn't be mowing our lawns as much as we do. Because if we mow them, then they're wasting all that plant energy to regrow, which costs us more water, which doesn't save us anything other than the fact that, oh, your grass is, instead of being 3 inches tall, it's 6 inches tall. Okay. I'd rather you walk on my sidewalk anyway.
We also probably need to shave our lawns. They're not exactly natural.
They are not. I'd be okay with whatever we let grow there, just as long as it stayed at a reasonable height. And I know a lot of people around me that freak out and are adamant about making sure that their grass is grass, and only grass. I look at my front lawn and I say, there's a lot of clover in that area. That area only gets 4 inches tall. Ever. I like that area. That's my favorite spot.
We actually don't mind when dandelions grow in our grass because then bunny shelter can eat dandelions.
We don't get that specific bonus. If anything, just the dandelions end up eating all the nutrients out of our soil and then make dead zones. But then I mow the leaves over and it fixes.
I wouldn't mind like a totally natural, native plants type yard with walkways and mulch and everything. That would be nice.
I can agree on that. That's a lot more fun than the basic green carpets we grow. Mandy says, yeah, just mulch for me and mostly clover yard. Maintains a lovely green and it burns and buns love it. Yeah. I think we're all, as furries, agree that the concept of the lawn is dumb.
Yeah, it's very nice. Immediately post-war, World War II. That's very much what they did in the suburbs.
And the problem is, if you live in any kind of a suburbia, even if your homeowners association, which you don't get to pick, decides
No, unfortunately.
you have to have a lawn that is less than 6 inches tall or something. If you live within city limits of any city, there's usually a regulation on whether or not you've mowed your lawn. I remember not too long ago when my dad had just come back from pacemaker surgery, and the doctor, for very good reason, was saying, "One, you're not mowing the lawn. You live on a slope, and mowing in general bad. No, you are not doing that right now." The city came and complained to them that their lawn was too high, and they'd even just mowed it. Then they got the neighbor guy to come over and do their lawn for them. Seriously? Somebody had to stick up their butt. Mindy has no HOA here. And Lego says, our HOA is great. They don't give a shusha about anything. I wish ours did too. HOA, the harassment you pay for. You're lucky our HOA is annoying, but stuff and pathetic about it. Ours sends out nasty grabs all the time about some things, but never enforces them, fortunately. They are... Every couple of months we get a newsletter in everybody's door handles, which I look through and go, that's the same stuff you complained about last one. Cool on you. One of the things they complain about is you have to have your trash cans not visible from the road when it's not trash day. Every person but one on our entire street, the trash cans are on the wall of the garage, visible to the street. Every single one of them. Every house down the line. That's where we all stick them.
On the outside?
On the outside. And it's just what everybody does. I've been doing this for 6 years. You may send it out in the flyer every 2 months. And it's not just our street. I've driven down some of the other streets in our little zone here, and I'm not sure where the border ends because HOAs don't, have a homogeneous, landmark to them. So I don't know how far it goes, but every single street I've gone down of our area just seems to do the same exact thing. Almost every house, 2 garbage cans, the recycling and the regular one, on the other side of the garage from the rest of the house, just propped right next to the people door, because that's where they live.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that they put that letter, they put that note in that letter because some Karen went and complained, and they said, okay, we'll send a notice out.
Probably.
Just to keep her happy, guaranteed it.
I know there's rules about things like above ground pools and whatnot, and our neighbor next to us was actually considering getting one after having went and talked to 2 other residents in our area who have them in their backyards. Never get anything said to them about it. They were like, yeah, we just don't tell them. It's easier that way. Then he says, I moved out of our planned community. That was a hell. Lego says, we have a non-running vehicle for a while and Noah's complained once. That is awesome. HOA, Harassment and Oppression Association. Sounds about right. It's time for my date. I'll catch you next time, Caddie. I love you. Love you too, Allistons. Have a good date. I hope whoever it is you're snoogling with is a good snoog. Mindy says again, the HOA is in the last place. Certainly used reporting in my very racist way for several people to move because, that's actually one of the biggest things HOAs were created for. Fun fact, HOAs were created for racism. To keep people that weren't the right tone of melanin out of certain areas. So, I'm going to say at least mine is not currently blocking this. We actually have a fairly diverse street as far as shades of people. Across the street until recently was a uh, Indian area shade of persons, or possibly Middle Eastern. I couldn't tell. I never really spent time with them.
Like Southeast Asian, Middle Eastern, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that region. Down the street, we have at least 3 or 4 of the houses for sure I know are African American peoples. This is not me complaining. This is actually me being proud that we are in a more diverse area as opposed to being in a mayonnaise street. Because if I was, I think I'd have more problems being the gay family.
Oh my god, I've never heard that term before. That's good. I like that.
What?
I'll remember that one. That's good.
Mayonnaise street?
That's me on it. That's good. Thank you.
That's a great term. I agree. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you, Nepal, for enjoying my random words.
We need to get that trending on Twitter.
Mayonnaise people. I
I'm like running on Twitter anymore, thankfully.
I usually just post things and I don't read. Because that's how I work. I'm not adequately sharing in the social environment. I remember the concept of apparently very light melanin people are fond of mayonnaise from, I think it was Undercover Brother was the name of the movie, and one of the tests of him being able to go undercover as a white person was he had to eat a mayonnaise covered sandwich. And I thought, wait, white people are the people that eat mayonnaise? I thought most people did. I just don't because it's yucky.
The joke is that a lot of white people find mayonnaise to be like their limited spices.
I just find it like a disgusting slime people put on bread for some reason. I don't
Actually,
get
it makes a really good grilled cheese sandwich. You put it on the outside instead of butter.
I've heard that, since it is basically just eggs and fat, using it as a. I've also heard people use it in their when they're making fried chicken or something. They use it in part of the coating, kind of like you do the buttermilk phase. I've never tried it because I can't stand mayonnaise, so adding an element of it just like, wow, you can't taste the mayonnaise, and I'd be like, yes, I can, and ew.
When you do it in grilled cheese, it gets all nice and crispy, and it gives. They use a light bit of saltiness, basically. Really, really good on that. I like it a lot better than butter. Cheese.
I can totally understand it in a science fashion. Because of all the different times I worked in food service, there are enough things I learned why things would taste good as a reasoning. In fact, I had one of my coworkers at one of the places. Apparently, he made the best tuna salad. He made tuna salad that the entire building would flock down early for lunch just to make sure they got a giant slab of this stuff. He couldn't stand tuna salad, but he made good tuna salad. Every time he would make it, it'd just be this giant bowl. He'd open up the giant can of tuna or two, mayonnaise and whatever, and put it in there. He'd stir it up, and then he'd, in the end, make this grimacy face as he took a plastic spoon, picked it up, tasted it, and went, ugh. Threw the spoon away. He said, "It's right." He hated it. He knew exactly what it was supposed to taste like, but he hated it.
He is a saint man for making
Miracle Whip, even worse. I can't take any of those. I know people find this weird, but I like my sandwiches and things without a slather of any kind. No ketchup, definitely no mustard. I'm highly allergic to that. No mayos, no dressings. Nothing. Usually it's meat, vegetables, and bread. Because I'm anti-cheese. And I get the question, how can you eat a Subway sandwich without mayonnaise and Italian dressing and, of course, cheese? I said, simple. I pick it up and I put it in my mouth. Stupid. Do you not understand the physics of mastication?
Yeah, it's people not being able to think outside their own heads, I think.
Yeah. I have come to a little stretch at this point in my life. Some things can have barbecue sauce on them because that's fun enough. I find that as a pleasant flavor. And the last, 4 Fridays in a row, I've had my dinner be something that does have barbecue sauce on a sandwich. And that's those instant barbecue rib-shaped patty things, which I verified were the Encore brand one. I don't remember who mentioned the potential that was the brand name I had, but they spelled it Encoure, like the word actually is, but Encore is ON-CORE. They tasty cake the heck out of their name. But they had that flavor that I remember from when I was a kid. The local grocery store sold them like you do. They did chicken patties. The styrofoam plate with just meat slabs stacked on it, ready for sandwiches. That's how I used to get them as a kid. No barbecue sauce, just straight up hunk of meat, and that's just how I ate them. Heat it in the microwave, put it on a bun. Done. Eat. But I'll happily accept these ones.
Everybody enjoys different things.
Exactly. That, and I didn't realize how cheap it was, especially compared to a lot of the things I've been buying for dinners. This tray of these 6 little slablets is $4. I know. Granted, it takes 2 of them fills a large hamburger, but not like the little tiny store brand hamburger buns, the nicer ones you get in the bun aisle. So it takes 2 of them to fill a bun, so I usually for that dinner I 4 total slabs on 2 buns, and maybe a can of corn or something, like half a can of corn with it. Effectively, my dinner is probably well under the $4 ratio, seeing as I had the leftover of another sandwich and half a can of corn for lunch the next day. Compare that to buying 1 McRib when they're actually in the store. Those are probably up to like $7 now a piece.
Well, it's anyways because the spread.
Oh, which one?
About the sauce from McRibs, how it needs to be kept on.
Doritos on a sandwich. Ooh, that actually sounds good. Those weren't too expensive.
Wait, are we talking Cool Ranch Doritos or nacho?
I would definitely be nacho because I can't take ranch anything.
That's fair. I was curious what Mandy was thinking.
I don't know. Mendy, we're having a curious moment. Is that Cool Ranch or nacho? what are the other million flavors they've come up with in the last few years? Like Baja Blast Doritos or something. I know Mendy is one of my Baja Blast stands, so...
Nacho, nice choice.
I can agree on that. I think nacho would definitely add a good flavor and a crunch to a lot of different sandwiches. I'm feeling ya. I'm feeling this.
Also, I just thought nacho, and this is quite obvious in the Buffalo, but nacho Doritos as a branding feature.
I'm feeling this idea much harder than I should, and I'm thinking way too much into why that would be good.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Lately, when it comes to when I make a taco night, I had been doing taco meat, refried beans. If they have an avocado, cut that up, and basic head lettuce. Good old-fashioned iceberg. That's usually about the things I like, and I would just wrap it up in a large burrito tortilla. And I was getting tired of eating it by the time I was halfway through my burrito, but then I switched over to turning them into taco salads, where I put the lettuce in, I crumple up some basic tortilla chips, and then put the rest on top, and then scooge it all together, and I actually found I liked it better that way. I think the Doritos would go really good in that. Nacho on turkey. Oh. Nacho Doritos on turkey. That sounds good.
Yeah, nice turkey breast, and do that and put it into either like an air fryer or oven. Just toast it off, obviously.
I have a turkey tenderloin sitting in the freezer. Good, it's Turkey Day's coming up in just over 2 weeks, so I have a turkey experience coming up, but sometime after that I'll have to defrost that bad boy, and maybe I'll Dorito-ify that. So we got some flavor.
I'm curious how this is going to taste, actually. It should taste good.
I think so. Not doing anything too experimental on Thanksgiving, mind you. I have learned the main trick of when you're going to a gathering, that is not the day you experiment. That is the day you follow your personal recipe that you have tried 10 times over.
Actually, one of my favorite leftovers from Turkey Day, for those of us that mayonnaise, is to do cold spare bits of turkey with mayonnaise and a little bit of Lowry seasoning salt on the sandwiches.
I can feel you. From when I was a kid, it was get out the sandwich toaster, put turkey and stuffing in the sandwich toaster, and then make a toasty sandwich out of those. I know it's putting bread in bread. And I did
Americans have done weirder things with food.
Yeah. About 5 years ago, I did go to my parents' house and said, "Can I have the sandwich squisher thingy?" And Mom was like, "You'll get that out of my house?" And I was like, "Yes, take it." Because now that there weren't any stupid kids in the house, it's not getting used.
Mm-hmm. One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Heck yeah. Considering going there and questing for where the bread maker ended up, because my sister said she put it back there after she moved apartments a couple of times ago, and Mom doesn't even remember she still has it. Like, no, I gave that to Nancy, and I said, and girl's like, no, that ended up back in their house when we moved out of such and such apartment in Monroeville. Like, oh. So that's either in the upstairs bedroom. Monroeville, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's over near Pittsburgh. it's okay. There's one here in Indiana, too. I was surprised there was more than one. Because like, you named another area, Monroeville? What is wrong with people?
Yeah, at least it's not Springfield.
Fun fact, the Monroeville Mall was in one of those zombie movies. Like back in the, the 80s and the 90s, there was some zombie movie in a mall. And that was Monroeville Mall.
Interesting.
It was a nice mall. I'm not gonna lie. Was back when I remember it, a nice mall. I can't attest for it now because a lot of malls have turned to poop. 50 clothing stores for tweens and the rest of it's shoe stores, and maybe you got a GameStop hiding in there. If you're lucky.
It's the original Dawn. It was Dawn of the Dead.
Ah,
George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
that sounds about right. So I used to do my Christmas shopping at Dawn of the Dead. And until the bypass was put in to cross Delmont into Greensburg, that was by far the closest mall. It's only about a half hour away. Before then, Greengate Mall was 45 minutes away. And smaller.
Wow, they did it. I know that YouTube channel. Wow, they did a video on that one. Nice.
Ooh.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's a YouTube channel by a guy by the name of Dan Bell, who goes around and documents dead malls, like usually shortly.
We still got a few malls here. I'm going to be working on one of them this winter. I get Mariah Carey every night and go insane. We got a big one. Oh yeah, well, Mindy lives next to Mall of America, so... Most of the other basic malls throughout the country were built on poor planning and basically as tax dodges. And now...
Was that one mall in northern Ohio that is sinking to the ground?
That sounds about right. But they were not built with a sustainable process, and now everything is effectively so expensive to have a mall space. That little shop that actually made the mall be alive before, that random store you like to go to. You know that whatever it was. They can't afford to be a mall store anymore because the rent went through the roof.
There's surprisingly more malls that have been used Amazon distribution.
Wow. Makes sense. Big hallway system full of rooms to store packages in. Sad, but one of those kind of inevitable things when you think about it. Two things killed the mall. One of them was mall prices kept going up for spaces, and then right around that time is when online shopping started to really become a thing. I think malls were already in the dying process before that, because I remember the 90s whenever malls went from... I remember when the Westmoreland Mall, another mall back from Western Pennsylvania, it had just gotten a big extension built on, and another one of the anchor stores was put in, and a big food court, and more stores were showing up, blah, blah, blah. Kept getting bigger. That was in the early to mid-90s. And then by the time you were hitting 99, 2000, it's like all the fun stores were already starting to pepper out of these malls. Your Earth Magics and your random store that sold swords for some reason. I didn't know why, but it was really cool that you could go buy a cheap display katana in the mall. Sadly, we just lost our Asian imports store in our mall that did sell the display swords. Pouring one out to them. All their bootleg gear they had there too. I bought a few things from that store, but I was not enough to sustain their existence.
And then stores like the Disney store went out of business, Sears went out of business. All those major, like a lot of the anchor stores just absolutely out of business.
Our big mall,
Probably would kill them too.
our mall, which is still more or less alive, lost 2 of its anchor stores out of 4 because they were ones that went out of business. Like Sears left, and I honestly forget the name of the other one because I'd never heard of it before we moved here. It was one of those other stores that just... I think it was one that happened to be also... Like, there were a dozen different names for that they used for this store, but it was all over the country. Kind of a Hardee's Carl's Jr. kind of thing. And this just happened to be one of the many names of this particular one, and they're just like, as a company, we went out of business, so... The Sears got totally torn out, and it got rebuilt with a furniture store where the Sears had been. So at least something lives there now.
That's better than lost stores. A lot of malls.
Yeah. We got a few cookies left. We got a Build-A-Bear. We do have one of those rocks and incense type stores and little statues and things. And I know they get foot. They're always full when I go. There's people wandering around in there, and I buy a rock for Fopsy every time I'm in the mall. So I know that'll live. The FYEs across that little walkway from there. Box Lunch, Build-A-Bear. We had a Think Geek while they still existed.
Ooh, another store that was in malls, Sharper Image.
It was. That's not anymore.
Nope, I think they went out of business because the CEO was like
Wild thinks our other lost anchor was Carson's. That sounds about right. It probably is. I rarely shop at those stores anyway because they're usually so overpriced. I do walk through the Pennies and the whatever the other one is over there, the other side of where Victoria's Secret is, because occasionally I find when things are on clearance and they happen to be my size. I got a really nice jacket at Penny's this last trip that was 60% off. Like, brand name, really nice fur jacket, 60% off. I'm like, first I saw, oh man, first one I picked up on the end was like $99. Oh, that's so expensive. And it's extra small. I looked on the side, this rack is 60% off. What? They won't have one that's even in XL. And I shift down and I was like, 3X. And its price tag was only $89, not $99, like that extra small one. Like, I don't know why you're slightly cheaper. I tried it on in the... I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I opened the women's section, took off my jacket, put that one on, went... It fits. It's comfy. I'm going to stand in line. Wild did confirm it was Carson's. Yay! But normally normal people can't shop in those stores. They're so expensive. A pair of slippers cost like $40 in the JCPenney. And I'm not talking nice ones. I'm talking ones that I picked up and thought these look uncomfortable fuzzy slippers. And look, it says $40. And I was like, you know these are 12 over at the Target? And they're comfortable? And I put them back. The old joke, there's a sale at Penny's, is the perpetual true existence. Because nobody normal shops there.
Nope, because when there isn't a sale, nobody can afford it, so there's always a sale.
Exactly. Something's always going out. And ironically, because of the way they reset seasons, they start selling fall clothes in the beginning of summer. And, vice versa, as things step around. So, come fall, when fall has started and you're ready to wear a jacket, those are now on clearance, and they're putting out winter. So you can go buy fall at clearance price, and then when winter hits, winter's now actually on clearance because they're setting up spring. You don't necessarily...
People that plan ahead pay full price. Yeah.
Exactly. The hard part being a weird size like big, you're lucky if they put out one or two in Caddie size on the shelf. So you gotta hope nobody wants that particular outfit in normal human size. Every once in a while I win. Also, I have a couple times splurged and bought something I shouldn't have on expensive. My first faux fur coat I bought at regular price at, I think it was a Sears. And I think I paid $200 for it. And I still have it. It's a really comfy coat. But you look at a winter coat at one of those places when it's in its right season, it's easily $200-$300 now. The prices have only gone up. This was like 16 years ago, because I got it back when I lived in York. That was pre-Fopsy being in my life. That's how long ago this was. Also, I never buy winter coats anymore because I make ones that are way better than the ones I see in the stores and way pinker. I have been redeemed on a hydrate. Lego is agreed that I'm apparently thirsty. Water.
No, that's actually not a bad idea.
Agent chat if you're hydrating with me. How convenient. I held my hand in the right way that my tongue went out when I'm drinking. Dad. This is true. And unlike most people, I actually take my paw off to pick up the water bottle because there's not much left to grip once you have an index controller in your hand. Ah, delicious water. Thank you, Lego. I appreciate. Oh, and I fixed the adjustment on my new chair, so it's a lot more comfortable already. I finally replaced Sir Broken-A-Lot 2 weeks ago. Went to Sam's Club and got me a new Lazy Boy desk chair. And I fixed the fact that the seat was, the recline was tensioned too high on it. I reached down and was like, wait a minute, that's a fixable thing. I don't have to stress my ankles to push myself back to comfortable. Turn the thing and, the balance is better. And yes, my desk chair is Lazy Boy brand. Last one lasted 6 years and only cost $200, so I can't complain. Especially for how much I sit in this thing. I don't think the other one is fixable for how it was broken, so I'll just accept it's worn out. The screw points in the back area, the backrest, on the top screw they'd worn a groove from what I can tell in the wood or whatever it is that it's made of, because it was just pushed so far back, and when I would sit in it, it would go even further back. So I was sitting at about a 45-degree angle with the chair not in lay-down mode. When I hit when I hit the recline button, where it does the tilt back, I was just like, and I'm almost floor.
I had a chair, a weird chair that I inherited second from a room, and I had to get rid of that thing when I sat and I nearly fell all over the backwards.
Nice.
Okay, we're getting rid of this right now.
One of my favorite breaks on a chair, I had gotten a kind of gaming-esque chair. It wasn't a gaming chair, but it was like looked fancy from the office supply store. The place it broke, on the bottom where the compression stand sticks up and then it hits a circle on the bottom of the chair. Okay, that circle was in a square of metal that was not part itself of the main underside. It was kind of like welded on to the rest of the mechanism down there. When this chair broke, I ended up flat on my back on the floor. It was kind of a slow descent when it actually went, but it was more of a... because that spot weld that was holding the little square to the rest of the underside had apparently withered away over time, and all of a sudden I was just like going, wah! And all of a sudden I'm laying on the living room floor in Carlisle, on my back, on my chair, and looking up at Fopsy going, I think I need a new chair.
That's less bad than it could have been.
Yeah. Also, one time I was sitting at my chair in that same room, and all of a sudden I heard a sound that sounded like a gunshot. And then my chair tilted a little bit. One of the wheels shot off. It had like snapped. The plastic, the little metal spike that goes up into the chair star was still in there. The plastic caster had just shattered that part, and just the wheel flew to the other side of the room. It was at least a normal chair, and I'd had an old super basic desk chair at the time in the kitchen, so I just salvaged a wheel off of that one and stuck it on my chair till I replaced that one. I gotta say, moving away from the normal chairs to higher quality ones was one of the best game changers in my life. Desk-wise, anyway. I didn't realize until 3 chairs ago from this one. You should look at the weight rating on the chair you're buying. It blew my mind that almost everything in all the office stores was rated 225. And I'm like, at biggest Caddie, I was 325. No wonder I was exploding chairs. They were comfortable, they sat fine, but they weren't made for me. This chair, I forget it was 350 or 375 of its weight ratio for its max. I've lost a lot since uh, that high point in my life. But that just means this chair is potentially going to last longer because it's willing to take a 2-ton load, not just my butt and 2 bags of groceries.
Yeah.
Lego says, my chair reclining mechanism is broken and never locks back. Oh, I hate when a chair does that. I am so sorry. Mendy says, I used a piece of sectional soft. That is a good move. Use part of your sectional couch for your desk chair. If it was more convenient, I might, but I need to be able to wheel in and out of my little L desk to not take up half the room. A previous roommate would always have his computer set up next to his bed on a box or something, so that he would just be laying on his side on his bed while he played on his computer. I'm like, I like my bed and all, but I like to make sure I get the heck out of it occasionally. So if I did that, I would not feel normal. I don't think I could deal with that. Cute kitten. Boop. I'm half tempted to go down to my garage and make a fixed base chair and just go full send with saws and do some engineering backstory, please. I am for you, Lego. Honestly, if you find a way to make a chair unit that is comfy for you, do it. I have no qualms about someone having a thing that looks very DIY but makes you feel comfy. This is your sitting space. Make it yours. I don't even let my chair look like my chair comes out of the box. I have a fake sheepskin rug that I use as my backing. It's pink. And I have a square of pink fur that I use on the seat part, separate from the backing so it's easy to wash. And I have a backup for it in case, well, one's being washed. So my chair is pink. I don't care if I bought a brown chair. I don't care what color the chair is when I buy it. It's the color I make it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, and plus the Lazy Boy chairs, after 6 years, the leather wasn't even peeling, so props to them on that. My first Fat Man chair, the reason why it got retired, 2 things were wrong with it. The compression cylinder had died, so it was just stuck in short mode, which was fine enough, I could deal. But the foam in the seat cushion had worn out. So it was basically just the feeling of sitting on plywood, so not comfy anymore. No squish. Could have made a cushion, but I was like, I want a chair that works again. And I did. I have an old chair that's comfortable, and I have a base I can use. Lots of wood, redneck engineering. You go, legs. You go. You make chair that makes you a happy technique building monster. I want to see pictures. I want pictures and stuff. Coolness. I definitely have done some DIY repairs in this house because it's like a billion times cheaper to repair something yourself and try and figure it out from a YouTube video than it is to pay a plumber or an electrician if it's something you can do. I replaced the drain in the master bathroom sink because one day when I was cleaning the sink, all of a sudden I'm just like cleaning the pipe and my head now is holding the pipe. It's no longer attached to the bottom of the sink. Minor problem. It snapped off at the drain part itself on the bottom of the sink. I was like, well, looks like I'm going to Menards tonight after work. It looks a little weird under there because I couldn't find one the exact length of my drain, the pluggy, drainy part of it. But I got one that's a tiny bit shorter than that one was. So the PVC S-curvy thing is pulled up a little bit. But it tightened up nicely. And it's not leaking. And we're over a year, I think, since that snapped off. So if it ain't leaking yet, that was a good $10 repair I did on my own. Didn't pay a plumber $100 just to come and say, man, you're stupid because you touched that on your own. If I make it, I'll share it. Yay! I made my own desk. It's just melamine and some L brackets, good for 1,200 pounds. My first computer desk, when I went to college, my dad made it. It was 2 tripod sawhorses and a door. Came with cable management. There's a hole in the back to put cables down.
Creative, but yeah, okay.
It worked. It honestly was a perfect computer desk. He had 2 sawhorses that were the right height. They were tripod ones, so they made up just the width of the door itself. And a lot of years I used that door on sawhorses. And that was my desk.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Heck yeah. Dad was definitely a DIY person since forever, and he's been in carpentry since forever ago. Probably the 60s when he started working with wood. Something like that. I have no clue if the studs that the L brackets are attached to are good hold that much weight. Well, as long as your desk is not falling off, I'd say you're doing just fine there, Lego. You have done a good. Our desks in the workroom upstairs are the desks we had, the last desks we had when we lived in Carlisle, so they moved 8 hours in a moving truck and have been reassembled upstairs in this place, and they're still living. They look a little scratched. I mean, some of the fake black paint covering has worn off in a couple of places, and I don't care. They hold they hold monitors. And down here in the fun room, I think it was about 2 years ago now, we bought these nice L desks for this room, and I regret them not. They are really sturdy little buggers. It was funny when they got delivered. The UPS guy was asking if he could just drop them off in front of the garage door, and I asked, I'll help. Could you put them in front of the front door? Because they're going in this room, not that direction. He's like, fine. 2 desks with hutches was 6 heavy arse boxes. That was a lot of wood. Lego says, it's fine for now. I'm glad. Mendy says, mine's an IKEA tabletop and legs, which ended up being $25. That's a good price. Lego says, when I move out, I will more than likely be getting a standing desk so I can be a bit healthier. That's a good plan. Mendy says, so I don't... I should say so, yeah. Well, I suppose it's easier if you're buying just part chunks like the legs and a tabletop and putting the bits together. So,
That's true.
So I don't feel bad using it and being rough. But that is a good way to think of it too. That is one of the benefits of something like an IKEA. Yes, you can buy the $400 Bajorg L-Desk, or you could buy a tabletop out of the Just Tabletops bid, add some legs out of the Just Legs bid, and put it together yourself in the way you want it, and boom, you have what you need. The fun will be to find one large enough to have all my parts. I completely feel you there. Lego, 100%. This desk I'm sitting at has 23, 27, 27, and I think my tablet monitor's a 15. And for a little bit, I had the tablet monitor's currently still in front of one of the 27s, and I'd had my laptop also sitting on the desk. Yes, that's a lot of screens in one place. Yes, I love my giant L desks.
That makes me jealous, actually.
Oh? Do I have more screen than you?
I got a single. Oh, yeah, I have that one.
Mm-hmm.
I only got a single one right now. Once I get an area down here fixed, like I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I'm gonna get I've got a second matching monitor I'm gonna put onto the arm.
Oh, good girl. When we did our last upgrades, we went from these computers were normally 2 monitors each. They're both of our gaming rigs down here, and I bought total of 3 new 27s, 1 for me and 2 for the Fopsy. So we're both doing 2 27s and a 23 on each desk. And then later I got the tablet. That
is a 24-inch single sign.
we need to get you bigger, badder, multiple monitors. Make your desk look like Mission Command.
I'm also running a 20 series GPU, so that's a little issue.
We were running 3 monitors on a 1060, so I think you'll be okay.
Oh boy, that had to be interesting.
Not really, honestly. The quantity of monitors doesn't make as much difference because normally a game is only going to show up on primary monitor anyway. Everything else is really low function. Like if you have your Telegram on this monitor and a web browser, just so you have your cheat codes up or something, that doesn't take up much video card gas. And this one over here, I'm just going to go even crazy and say you have a Twitch stream up you're watching while you're playing a game on your main monitor. Still basically okay. Almost nothing is coming from those other 2 monitors.
There you go, that had to be interesting.
What happened? Having 4 monitors is...
240p monitor.
Woo! Nice.
Was that thing always maxed out?
I should update my 24s since they're both decade-old displays. Wow. Twin 24s. One is on an armor higher and 32-inch display. Nice. That sounds like a good setup there. That's a lot of screen. Oh yeah, and for the longest time, before the tablet was part of my setup, I had an HDMI cable running to the 40-inch TV next to me. Because it would be easier for me to output YouTube to that than to yell at the PS3 because the YouTube app on it just really wasn't working. Couple years ago, we upgraded that TV, though. It now has a Roku box on it because they're cheap. Something go ding. Buff Cowboy Werewolf Dragon, thank you for the follow. Welcome to my chaos. Well, hello there. Thank you for chatting as well. We are just bibbly babbly gibbity gabbiting here about stuff. I am glad you are doing well. Come to think of it, before I had the 1060, I was running still 2 monitors and the TV with a 560 Ti. I like screens. Real estate makes things easier. Both beautiful and gorgeous goddesses. Aw, thank you. Our new follower says you're pretty. I started dual monitoring at least back ages and ages ago. Many a desktop ago when I bought my first flat panel monitors, actually. And I say that with the loosest of definition of flat panels, because those things were still like 3 inches thick. You remember when they were that chonk?
At work, I still use an older iMac display.
Nice.
Ooh. It is so nice. I can't bring it home though because it's tagged.
Ah.
And IT won't let me bring it home. Dang it.
Thank you for tipping your cowboy hat to us. That was very manly of you. You are very nice. I may be working on building a second PC from our chaos. That way I can run just games on this PC. Anything else on the second PC I have built a platform ready to go. Well, thank you for all the flowers. Our actual plan for our household is next spring is new computer for us. We're due. I've mentioned many a time before that our processors are officially like 1 generation before Windows 11 will allow us. So we're going to upgrade our gaming rigs in this room with a whole new, just basically everything but the video cards. And then one of our current children is going to move into the living room where I usually do the full suit video recordings from, which is currently a 11-inch convertible laptop / tablet running Windows 10. That's what I record YouTube videos off of, as a flappity little tiny laptop. So we're going to move one computer onto that table and have that be a second location where that way if one of us is streaming, the other one wants to actually be at an actual gaming computer, they have the choice. Boop. Yes, you may. Obviously won't be the bee's knees, because the 3080s are staying out here for now until we replace those with, I don't know, 5080s or 6080s or whatever it is when we finally do upgrade again. At which point the video card's probably going to weigh half a ton and require us to put a generator in the room. I already consider them that way at this point.
It's the 30 series. The 30 series are known for being space agers.
Oh, the computers were already hot before they gained those little bonus boys. Hi, Lego! Welcome to the chaos.
Oh my gosh, like you scared me.
Give me computers. You may play with our computers. I would share. No, I have not heard of V1 Tech, but thank you for saying my voice is pretty. I don't think so. Lego's got a pretty voice there. It's cute. And Nepal has a pretty voice.
Yeah, I don't think so.
See, no one likes their own voice. That's the rule.
Generally, yes.
I actually, within the last couple months, finally threw out the remaining non-salvageable parts of our last computers that had already been... They were well into sad time before I set them down. But I pulled the RAM, I pulled the video cards, everything of any kind of use, but said goodbye to the old processors, motherboards, and cases that had things broken on them. Something go ding. What go ding? Ding noise. Thank you, Goopy Mute, for following. I appreciate. Welcome to the chaos. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on. It's already after 10 o'clock. V1 Tech, they build PCs. Your beautiful shines from the laser. Aw, thank you. Well, I do build my own computer, though, so they'd be used for people who aren't me. Aw, and thank you, Goopy, for saying I seem nice. Aw, thank you. I try to be nice. It is good, though. I am happy there are more computer building places out there that will do custom work that has been costing not as much anymore. The last one I bought was my Dell back in 2000, and I spent $2,000 on that. Yeah. Yes, you see, if you spend $2,000 on a computer and you build it right now, you actually get $2,000 worth of computer. Then I feel like you spent $2,000 on a computer, you got $1,000 worth of computer and $1,000 worth of the word Dell stamped on it.
Pretty much, yeah. And also, $1,000, part of that $1,000 went into swapping for things like where the power pin was on like hard glass and
I'm glad mine...
They legitimately did that.
Nice. My Dell at least was before they started doing wonky things like changing out the power connectors and doing weird stuff like that. It was in the Pentium 3 era. Most of my older equipment got lost to the curb when we moved out of Carlisle because we had limited truck space and I had to pick what did and didn't go, so my 386 bit the big one at that point. I do miss him. Solid steel desktop case with both floppy drives and a whole 80 megabytes of storage space. What, a Commodore?
It might. About that, yeah. I have both a Caddie 1000 ES and a Texas in the Shape that takes those two.
Nice.
Yeah, it does.
I lost most of my super old stuff when I moved out of western PA into central Pennsylvania, so that's when I lost both my Commodores and the 8086. They both got left in Dave's basement, and from what I heard, Dave doesn't have that house anymore because he lost his job. So I'm assuming all that stuff is just gone. Eh, most of that stuff I didn't have much nostalgia for. The 8086 was an adoptee long after I had Pentium level hardware in my house, so it was not a problem. Basically, my high school English teacher said, "I have this computer thing in my house. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Mrs. H, I will be right over." And I drove over to her house and got rid of it for her. That computer had one major benefit. This was back in like around 2000-esque. And its monitor was a green one, but those monitors used a composite cable. So I was sitting in my bedroom at the place I was renting. I have a 32-inch TV. I was watching TV on it, and I plugged my PlayStation 2's video into the back of this little green screen monitor so I could play Digimon World 3 while I was watching TV.
And then you realize, come on.
Yeah, I'm glad I never heard it, but it eventually went away along with all tube things of my life.
I saw it CRT. I would not hear that thing.
The last ones we had were heavy. Oh, go ahead.
Here's hoping the tube doesn't die.
It's kind of like the blacks in the air. That's should keep it pretty good.
Yeah, as long as it hasn't been heavily used.
That's won't survive for like 15 years of human products.
Well, Gooby says, I built new computers last month and I took an RGB pin underneath the finger. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Hope you feel better. Pre-builts are okay except when they put those goofy arse motherboards that aren't standard from factor and can only be, like things like Dell does nowadays. Those drive me crazy.
Alienware, yes.
Yeah.
They're basically reprinted.
We do cheat. We do have pre-built computers for one reason in our house. Actually, it's specifically for not work while at work. Just to make the work desk more pleasant. We both have all-in-one computers on the work desk that is not our work computer, so we can browse the internet and watch Twitch streams while we're working. Those recently got their yeah. Work can't see anything on that computer, whereas the computer work assigns me has like all sorts of firewalls and scanning software and monitoring garbage on it. Grumble, grumble, grumble. So I can't do anything fun on that at all. It was within the last year I actually bought the two. This time we got HPs, just because I got a good model on it, and it had everything we wanted. It actually had a fairly decent Ryzen processor in it, and it was a 27-inch screen. So I was like, yeah, it's a good web browser. That'll cover me watching Twitch while I'm working. Exactly. I ain't gaming on that thing.
I'm just going through like little Facebook marketplace to see what crackheads are selling.
Yeah, stuff like that. Browse FA, watch YouTube, play Nitro Stream Racers.
Even though I have forced plays, I sometimes find on the gaming same 20.
You know, really, how it is the bane of the moment you have more than one display. You figure out what you could do with one more screen. I have one more thing that I got stacked here that I could squeeze over.
You do what Lance Texas did about 6 years ago with 9 2x3 giant 2x3.
Y'all want to go swordfish on that?
And have them all act as one monitor. Those are all our slides do it.
If I had more desk space, I probably would put more monitors on it, not because I needed them, but because I could.
One thing I want to do when I move out is just build a new machine because I don't want to turn it into like the already set up. I don't feel like you want to do it again. Just have four hours out my window and just have a cooler. Like,
Highly considering doing water cooling with the new rigs we're going to be setting up. I've been all fans so far on everything I've built. And that's partly because of a nightmare scenario one of my friends had right around the Pentium 4 era. He got a dual P4 board and water-cooled stuff. And there was a leak. And everything got destroyed. Yeah. Well, this was back in the early 2000s zone. Water cooling was still in its infancy, and yeah, I'd consider like one. I'd consider one of those like already set up all-in-one loop things that just you basically snap into place and it's good. I don't have to worry about tubes or anything. I just have to worry about, can I mount the radiator? I have an unhealthy obsession with buying used rigs and Frankensteining them together. Oh, that's cool. My first gaming rig was an Optiplex. Oh, nice. I'm too scared to water cool. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't know if I can beans. I'm not wearing my peak trackers. You can have hand beads. You can have these beads. Where'd the camera go? Am I on it? There it is. Hmm?
For some reason they have an A700K 38 Ti.
Mm. Meow.
If I got this, I would definitely take the head to the mic. Because the 80 is nice, the 770 is nice.
We did get really nice. We got nice microphones gifted to us a few months ago, and it's equal quality to the Index's mic as far as that's concerned, but for when I'm doing the desktop stuff, it is way better. It's Rode, R-O-D-E.
Oh, yeah.
So we have shiny little bricks sitting on our desk. I was surprised how heavy those things were when I got handed to me. It's a tiny little box, and it's like, why is this tiny box so heavy? Yeah, the base is heavy, but I take it off the base and it's still heavy. Wow. That's a product.
That's just like the Eddie for you as well. The Eddie's a comfy mic, but you know,
I almost bought one of those a while ago. I saw it on the store shelf. Would this improve my situation? I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend money. It's expensive, and no one's complained yet about my audio.
The road mics are definitely better than the Eddies, that's for sure.
yeah, the Eddie's a really good mic for what it is, but you get better.
Oh, you can definitely get better.
When I'm doing the fursuit streams, that definitely has been picking up so much nicer than the webcam microphone that I had been using.
That's obvious.
Here's the thing with the mic with my webcam, it's like,
I didn't start this as a business, so I didn't like come into it thinking I needed to buy stuff. I was just working with stuff I had. And I'd picked up a cheap webcam at some point, a little $30 Logitech, and I can record videos with this. That's cool. And then later I can stream from this. Okay, why not? The upgrade to the 3080 was definitely a major step, though. The 1060 was certainly showing its age. I have some
50 right to 3080.
nice.
That was a jump.
It's especially nice, like, you have whenever the 32 inch display I have is also 4K. It's very pretty.
Ooh. None of our screens are 4Kers.
I think I'm pretty 4K displays before, but anytime I have to warn them about getting parts depending on them.
Aw.
Oh, that
A
doesn't sound
50
good.
bucks used for a 55 inch Roku market. The
Huh.
55 inch is 4K.
Ooh. Nice.
I just need to get parts because there's something wrong with like the smart TV containers.
Ugh.
You need new motherboard. That's new motherboard.
Yeah.
One of my monitors gave me a scare a couple weeks ago. It wouldn't turn on when I got home. The problem was the power cord going into the power brick had just wandered its way out. It's sitting on the desk. It's not doing anything. It is literally in a place where I can't reach if I don't pull monitors out to get back there. But it was the standard, 3-prong computer power supply power cord had just on its own just snuck out of the power brick and was just far enough that it wasn't making contact anymore.
That's called IEC.
IEC.
I have no idea what it stands for.
It generated I almost CP on my chair because that's a 27-inch monitor I was not in the mood to replace that day. We just come home from a wedding and I went to turn my monitors back on and it's the primary display, the center one where I have my taskbar and all that hoo-ha. The two side monitors turned on and my taskbar was on the right monitor. That doesn't move unless Windows thinks this monitor is not only off but dead and demolished. So I was immediately up to panic mode. Yeah, about that. Duffman, well, good morning there, Snugglepuff. Well, I hope you're going to have a good day at work there, cutie pie. I run the AI on the 1050. Woo! I've been running 2070 Super and a 1050 Ti, so I can run my AI voice without lagging. Nice. Nice. I haven't tried any voice mod stuff yet. I figure, I'm too lazy to set up all my chat commands like shoutouts and Discord alerts and stuff like that. So, too lazy to do a voice mod.
The only thing I do is I just turn on video broadcast and just mute the ambient noise from my area.
I got that one.
That's it.
I like that one. As soon as I turned that one on, I was like, oh, that cuts off almost everything.
It goes, let me show you this. Change is nice, and there's just what you hear going in the background without the video broadcast. It's constantly being lit up now.
Well, I hope you have a good day at work there, Duffy.
There's not much changing, so it's not working here. Alright, I now turn off the noise removal.
Dwas.
Back on. Yeah, my computer's like 2 viewers like, and then 2 recording. And compare one playing, so.
Yeah, I moved my computer up off the floor onto the desk in the last year or so, and if I'm doing the desktop streaming thing, it's right. It's in between two of the monitors, which is less than a foot from the front of the actual case. Also, a bonus, the computer case is now only about 1.5 feet under the thermostat for the entire house. Which means we have to play the game of knock whatever temperature you want it to be up by about 4 degrees because the computer's going to generate.
My world of having an 80-degree room 90% of the time.
Blech. No.
As I said, space heater.
Space heater. I was pretty happy when we bought this house that we decided to go with the house that had the central air conditioning. 'Cause cold.
Yeah. We got AC on.
The hottest room is our workroom, and that one, though it does have technically 4 computers in it and 2 bodies during a workday, I would say probably actually some of the lower power consuming computer hardware, because the all-in-one computers are basically laptop hardware stuck in the back of a 27-inch monitor. I've opened them up. I've seen it. I've upgraded the RAM. And our work computers are laptops that we each plug 2 more monitors into because they think we could work off of a 12-inch screen. They're cute like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I found someone who might sell some data and I felt like it could be worth. I think I've seen X-Ray that chipset holder.
Ooh. Thank you.
8 RAM slots.
Ooh, that's nice. Fill that bad boy up, fasty fasts.
And it's dormant
Ooh.
lightning.
Mm.
Entire system.
Buy it. Yours now. Thank you, Duff Man. I hope you have a good day at work. You cutie little fluff down under.
So what I can see is it looks like it's a shorter Asus card. It's got SI fingers. This might be 2070.
That could be good. 2070, not bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what this could be.
I'm anxious to motherboard shop next year. I'm looking for. I strangely get excited by looking for something with more ports and newer ports and all that hoo ha.
This might be 2016 or something. So it's got 5 display output. Yeah, 20 series. I know that for a fact, but it says DVI.
Rest in peace, DVI. I loved you.
Yeah, this is not cheap. I see it's an RMX 1000. This has got something good in there.
Shiny toy. Hmm.
It's got a BIOS flash button. And I think USB 350 and 2 USB 2s. And new network.
How how quickly you would fill up all the USB ports. Looks behind my desk and sees the rat's nest of USB things.
Oh, I guarantee you. One of those USB ports is going to have a USB type A to C that goes up my ceiling, over my room, and down to my 3D printer that's behind me. I will be making slime trackers. That's a cheap ass.
I have trackers, and they're sitting on my desk because I didn't feel like putting them on the day and yelling at my computer the entire time I'm streaming.
Let's see if I can figure out what this platform is. So the pictures.
Fopsy got a set of Vive trackers not long after she got her index. I tried them for like 2 seconds. I'm like, okay, I'm buying a set of 3 Vive trackers and strapping in with those. Once you start taking those into account, though, that's 3 USB ports right there just for your trackers. 1 for the index headset. My tablet uses a USB port for its interaction stuff. Keyboard, I have a mechanical Logitech that takes 2 USB ports. But I can run my mouse out of it. It's got an out from there, so that's one that's saved. Add in the webcam, the headphones, controller. You quickly are like, how many USB hubs do I need to buy to plug everybody in?
The reason I went to the board I did, I have lots of USB.
You know, when I bought this computer, I thought I had lots of USB. When I built this back 5 years ago. Back then, I didn't think I was going to end up with VR stuff because that was expensive and I didn't know what I'd do with it other than playing Job Simulator. Now it's like, oh, computer? Yeah, that's where I play VR. And I get to go hang out with friends from around the world. And that's neat. Like a little kitten who's about a 5-hour drive away probably. And however far away a Lego lives from me.
I'm all the way on the west coast, so I'm safe.
Oh yeah, you're way out of driving distance. Anything over 8 hours. Huh?
I don't mind being 5 hours away.
That's not too bad. I'm assuming you're about 5 hours. Because Chicago's 3.5.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But 3.5 hours from MFF, 5 hours from Anthrocon. I live in the middle of furry Mecca. And apparently about 2 hours north of Indy FurCon, which I've never been to. There used to be one up in Michigan. I don't know if it's still there. Motor City FurCon.
It's still there.
Oh, it's still there? Yay, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Been there a couple years, but it's still there.
I don't have enough vacation time or money to go to every FurCon. Paying for MFF and Anthrocon is enough of an expense for me. That and total. The 7-hour round trip to MFF is bad enough. The 10-hour to Anthrocon is ugh.
Hey, you have an easy going after
Yeah, I know. You have to have 5 hours plus what it takes to get from where I am up to you.
Yeah, it's like a 16 or 17-hour round trip.
Ugh. That's about what it used to take us to come visit here out to Fort Wayne. Because we lived in central Pennsylvania, so we were 3 hours from the edge of PA, and another 5 hours out to here. It only took like 2 or 3 visits out to Fort Wayne to decide, yeah, we're okay with living there. When you don't have a job that requires you to physically be in a location, pick one that has the amenities you need and costs the least for what you want. So we found a nice suburbia with good shopping, good food, quite a few friends. It was a success unit. As long as it still works, a lot of times that's what matters. Every computer that isn't this one in the house or the work ones is mostly just there to browse the internet on anyway, so every laptop that's strewn about in different places is for browsing. I don't care how fast it is, it just has to go. I have one Vista machine that is still in existence. It is a Toshiba I got about 16 years ago. It's a 17-inch desktop replacement. With the lid shut, I think it's about 2 inches thick. For a laptop, it had like 8 USB ports. I loved that little tank. It was fun to take to place and just go, and I have a computer that does stuff. Except have a battery that will hold a charge for more than half a second. Yeah. Its replacement was another Toshiba. It was also 17 inches and was like half the thickness. Yeah, that was my last Toshi. Everything else has been... Everything past that's not been something I picked as far as laptops are concerned. They just ended up being things I got because they were a deal or free. My couch browser in the living room, I got with work points. I'd saved up all of my, you did a goodie points, and I went to the points store, and I was like, well, what can I do with almost 2,000 points? And I saw, there's a laptop. Specs look okay enough. I could browse the internet on that. Boom. Free. Ooh, first time chip.
Aren't you going to gamble?
Ooh.
I saw a TurboGrafx 16 in a box. Still unopened.
I am jelly.
$300.
Sadovia, that pink tiger is a Kiggy. K-I-G-G-Y. That one is particularly the public model of it, so if you go searching, thank you, Lego. You can find that at most of the avatar search places. I actually have the paid version of that as well, because that's what my lion self is a Kiggy. So we bought the pack with all 3 versions of female Kig. And then Fopsy was wonderful and uploaded it for me because she's wonderful and the bestest thing ever, and I love you. And she's in the room with me physically, so yes, I'm thanking out loud. Fopsy, I still gotta shorten your tail. Yeah, that one does have a bit of a tail. The Lion Kiggy's tail is like twice as long as it is tall. It's not quite Lego tall. You're allowed. You're still cute whether or not you're hiding. Not that I know of. Y'all are both cute. I'm okay with this.
Sweetie, you okay to post the Jarvis link?
Oh, yes, that's fine, sweetie. Go ahead. Fopsy being helpful in posting links. I probably should end stream soon. I normally am done at 10 o'clock. It's almost 11. Who's on that I can annoy?
I'm surprised you were going this night, but okay. Still seems okay, so I'm just gonna let you go.
If I'm feeling it, I feel it. If I'm not feeling it, I don't feel it. Did them recently. You know what? I found who I want to go to. Give me new tab or give me death. Not that. No. Not on close. That thing. New tab. I forgot to open that tab before I started streaming when I had a mouse. Let's see if I can do this easily. Bloop. He's not going to be on there, I'm pretty much sure, because every time this is the person I pick, they're never going to be on the first 5. Nope, they're not. Haha, got him in 3 letters. Win! And yes, he appears to be still going. Anyway, I definitely want to thank all of you for spending time with me. You've all been wonderful fluffs. And yes, thank you, Fopsy, for posting that link. Buff says, I have a nickname for you. It's called Cherry Blossom. That is the name of my Goat fursuit, actually. Cherry Blossom. If you check my YouTube channel, you can find video of her. She be all cute. Ada ada. Ada ada.
Actually, I know that. Actually, know that.
Ew. She'd make it to MFF last year. Did you spot her when she was... Did you get goat hugs? I don't remember.
No, MFF last year was a weird year for me.
I'm sorry. I'll give you Mewtwo and Caddie hugs.
I'm totally okay with
Anywho, I stream on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays is normally from 7 to 10 o'clock. It is now 10:40 something. I have been going too long because I'm stupid. Wednesdays, and I get distracted easily. Wednesdays is gaming and fursuit, so you will see one of my fursuits playing a game, currently Cult of the Lamb, from the same time frame, 7 to 10. If you'd like to watch my other half, Fopsy Woo, her channel is linked in my description doodly-doo. I don't have that much down there, so it'd be easy to find. Look for the cute pink fox. That picture will go to her channel. And she's wonderful. She streams on Tuesdays and Fridays, same time frame, 10 to 7 Eastern. And if you're not sure when 10 is, that was 46 minutes ago your time. That's when 10 o'clock was. But I hope you all behave now. Have a lovely rest of your night. I'm going to send you on over to a cute little deer and be nice to him. He's a sweetheart. And I'll see you all again on Wednesday. Not sure which fursuit. We'll figure that out by Wednesday. Bye! Clicky, clicky. And turn the volume on. Let's stop recording.